ABC Sports presents College Football Today, featuring this afternoon's scores and highlights with Jim Lampley and Bino Cook.
Good afternoon. Welcome again to our studio in New York, where Bino and I will be throughout the day. The most highly ranked team playing at this moment in college football is second-ranked Ohio State, tied up with Purdue in the second quarter. Purdue got the early jump on an Everett touchdown pass. Keith Byers came back with a 20-yard run to tie it for the Buckeyes. One of this year's most surprising ball clubs, the Gamecocks of South Carolina, winners last Saturday night over Georgia, winning again today for Coach Joe Morrison, 35-10 in the third quarter. And Bino, let's talk about South Carolina a second. A lot of people are pointing to Joe Morrison as one of the outstanding young faces in coaching, but I know there's more to the story than that.
In my opinion, the worst four inventions of this century are the IRS, hair dryers, artificial turf, and local news. And artificial turf I hate. South Carolina now is playing an artificial turf. All 11 games, home and away for South Carolina, will be a natural grass, and every red-blooded American who loves college football has to root for South Carolina because artificial turf is the curse of all sports.
I bet the players are still using hair dryers, though, Bino.
Yes, yes, and they're still local news.
All 11 games on grass for South Carolina. They're winning again today. Elsewhere in the top 10, Brigham Young has scored on 7 of 8 possessions. They lead Colorado State 45-3 in the third. Army still unbeaten, leading Harvard 10-0 at halftime. East Carolina at Pittsburgh, and Pitt finally got its first win of the season, 17-10 over the Pirates. And a good day for John Congemi. With the ankle injury, he might not have played. Got the Pitt Panthers started partially on the basis of this long touchdown pass to Wallace in the first half. 177 yards and 2 TDs on the day for Congemi. And Craig Hayward, the freshman running back from Passaic, New Jersey, one of the most heavily recruited players in the country last year, rushed for over 110 yards for Pitt today. Temple and William and Mary, that game is 14-7, Temple in the third. Georgia Tech's bubble has temporarily been burst by North Carolina State. Tom Reed's Wolfpack with a 27-22 upset at Tech. Maryland and Penn State. Maryland has so much trouble beating the Nittany Lions. Only one time in 26 games have they won it. That was back in 1961. With 1:45 to go, Maryland scored on an 18-yard run by Alvin Blunt, but missed the pass for the 2-point conversion, so they still trailed 25-24 late in the fourth quarter, although the Terrapins have the ball at this moment. North Carolina and Clemson, the Tar Heels, the last team to beat Clemson at Clemson. Doesn't look as though it's going to happen today, as Clemson, looking to win at home for the 22nd time in a row, leads in the fourth quarter. Wake Forest at Richmond, Al Groh's team on top 22-9 in the third. Syracuse beat Nebraska last week, now trails Florida 13-0 in the fourth quarter. College football is a funny game. Auburn and Ole Miss. Valiant effort by Ole Miss, but Auburn won it 17-13, and that is the first regular season loss for Mississippi in 10 games. Virginia Tech at VMI. Bill Dooley's team, or check it, Southern Mississippi at Mississippi State. It's 10-3 Mississippi State in the second quarter. Virginia Tech at VMI, and Bill Dooley's team is winning that ball game 47-0 in the fourth quarter. We'll be back with a look at highlights from last night's baseball game and more scores right after this.
College Football Today is being brought to you by McDonald's. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's. By Ryder Truck. It's Ryder or it's wrong. By Sears, where you'll find great values. There's more for your life at Sears. And by Prestone 2 Antifreeze. America goes with Prestone.
Right now, your body's thirsty for more than water.
You're working your body till you can't do more. Gatorade is thirsty. So give your body what it's thirsty for. Gatorade is thirsty for that deep down body thirst.
When you exercise, you lose potassium, fluids, minerals. Gatorade helps put them back fast. It's no ordinary thirst quencher.
Gatorade is thirsty for that deep down body thirst.
Today, your engine can rev twice as fast, twice as hard as engines fast. Smaller engines, higher tack. Get the 2-stage filter from Lee and fight back.
Lee 2-stage Maxi Filter with 2 stages. A second filter on top of the first for the kind of protection your engine demands.
Lee 2-stage. Cause your engine can work twice as hard.
Sears National Hardware Sale. Save $7 on Easy Living matte flat paint. Now $8.97 a gallon. Their lowest price of the year for a half-horsepower garage door opener. And save on these Sears Best lavatory and kitchen faucets. Now half price, just $29.99. You'll find more tough hardware at hard-to-beat prices right now at the National Hardware Sale.
There's more for your life at Sears.
In case you missed it last night here on ABC Sports, the Detroit Tigers took another step toward perfecting their already brilliant season as they closed out Kansas City to win the American League pennant with a 1-0 victory in Detroit. Here's how the game's only run scored. Runners at first and third with one out in the second inning. Marty Castillo hit the double play ball, but beat Frank White's relay to first base, allowing the run to score from third, and that one stood up as Milt Wilcox pitched two-hit shutout ball for 8 innings. The most serious Kansas City threat came in the 8th and was throttled on this play as Wilcox got Willie Wilson to hit a shot down the first base line. You're going to see the outstanding stab by Darrell Evans that kept the ball from going through to right field. Then Evans got up and was able to beat Wilson, perhaps the fastest base runner in the American League, to the bag at first base to stop the Kansas City threat. Wilson sliding into first base, perhaps an error, but it looked as though Evans would have beaten him to the bag under any circumstances. Willie Hernandez pitched the 9th. The Tigers won it 1-0 and will go on into the World Series for the first time since 1968. And tonight, of course, at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, you'll see Game 4 of the National League Series right here on ABC Sports. Chicago Cubs trying to close it out. Padres trying to even things up tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And after being named Most Valuable Player in the American League playoffs, Kirk Gibson visited the former Michigan State star, visited the Michigan State Spartans in the locker room before their game against Michigan today. Whatever he said, it appears to be working as the Spartans lead 16-7 in the fourth quarter. Highlight of the ball game, this first half punt return for 87 yards by Robert Morse that gave the Spartans a 13-0 lead. Michigan has lost starting quarterback Jim Harbaugh to injury in this game. Russ Rain has taken over at quarterback for the Wolverines. He's making his first appearance on the field for Michigan. Iowa at Northwestern, and Iowa is leading that one now 21-0, I'm told, in the second quarter. Ronnie Harmon has scored all 3 touchdowns for Iowa. Colorado at Missouri, 45-7, favor of the Tigers in the fourth quarter. Iowa State at Kansas, it is 9-7 Jayhawks in the second. Texas Tech at Texas A&M, 23-12 Texas Tech in the fourth quarter. TCU at Arkansas, and it is 7-3 Jim Wacker's team on top in that ball game in the second quarter. Beano Cook, much of the college football world still buzzing about Syracuse's stunning upset of Nebraska a week ago. What does that do to Tom Osborne's fan support in Nebraska?
I feel Doug Looney wrote in Sports Illustrated in the preview issue, Jim, that Nebraska fans are the best in the country. And I think they are. Even after the Miami defeat, they did not second-guess the coach. They were great fans last week. They were disappointed, but they don't go around say, fire the coach. They're not only the best fans in football, they're the best fans I've ever seen in any sport. They're tremendous.
And it really is a great thrill for all the Nebraska players to play in front of them. You'll see the Sea of Red again today. Those of you who are going to get to see Oklahoma State and Nebraska. Meanwhile, Penn State has wrapped up the 25-24 victory over Maryland, 26th time in 27 games that the Nittany Lions have beaten Maryland. We'll be taking you out to the football game you're seeing in your region right after this.
To all beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's.
It was moving day. Things were going great. Till the moving truck died at the toll booth gate. The troopers were glaring. Tempers were flaring.
Do I hear swearing?
What's more, it started to pour. The tow truck came and we gave a cheer. Then the couch slid out the rear.
Oh.
Now I know Ryder trucks are newer. They're tougher, they're strong. And driving a bargain sure didn't pay. So next time I'll think this way. It's Ryder or it's wrong.
What gets America moving when the weather turns cold?
Presto.
What keeps football heroes on the go?
Prestone.
Why does your car need a fresh fill of Prestone? A radiator could look this bad after just 10,000 miles of driving on weak, neglected antifreeze, while a Prestone radiator looks this good. That's the Prestone difference.
What gets the country set for winter from New York to San Antonio? America goes with Prestone.
Nothing but red at Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. 75,000 plus anticipating the 56th meeting between the Georgia Bulldogs and the Alabama Crimson Tide. I'm Corey McFerrin with Lee Grosskopf and Lynn Swan. We'll have all the action live from Legion Field. Should be quite a ball game. Back with it in just a few moments.
Tomorrow, when the judge is away,
I'll take care of the house. Everything will be fine.
Mark finds time to play.
This is so fun.
But when an ex-con cleans up the house,
They've got my files!
Hardcastle and McCormick sweep into action. Tomorrow at 8, 7 Central.
What are you, Errol Flynn? Sorry, come on.
Special purchase. McNamara Pontiac has just purchased a select group of luxurious 1984 Grand Prix LEs and Bonneville Bromes, all to be sold at one special price. Your choice, just $10,988. Luxury equipped with air, AM/FM stereo, cruise control, and much more at $10,988. These special Grand Prix and Bonnevilles will go fast. And for great economy, see McNamara's new air-conditioned Pontiac 1000 with AM radio and more, just $59.88. That's McNamara Pontiac, I-285 at La Vista Road.
Over the last 3 years, those making $200,000 a year got a $60,000 tax break. Thousands of profitable corporations paid no taxes.
I refuse to make your family pay more so that millionaires can pay less.
This is the debate. Fairness. Will we all pay our fair share? Mondale will close tax loopholes and simplify the tax code. Mondale Ferraro, fighting for our future.
What would you call a Zenith that's ready now for TV stereo sound?
Smart.
With a remote that lets you switch from VCR to computer to cable to games with one easy touch.
Smart.
Plus the new Zenith Chromacolor Contrast Picture Tube for superb color.
Smart.
The Smart Sets, advanced System 3 from Zenith, designed with Zenith computer technology when you want everything.
Smart.
Bob McLean on Action News.
CFA College Football. Live from Legion Field, Birmingham, Alabama. It's the Georgia Bulldogs versus the Alabama Crimson Tide.
This ABC Sports Exclusive is being brought to you by your local BMW dealer. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. By U.S. Armed Forces, it's a great place to start. By Peerless Faucet, installs in no time, lasts a long time. And by J.C. Penney. Today, there's more style in everything you do. And there's more style than ever at J.C. Penney. You're looking smarter than ever. J.C. Penney.
Legion Field, it's alive, it's noisy, they are ready for football. The University of Georgia and the University of Alabama, and here come the Dogs. The Georgia Bulldogs, over the past 4 years, nobody has been able to put a record together quite like they have. 43-4-1. In fact, nobody in college football has been able to make the top 5 in the final season polls, as Georgia has done the past 4 seasons so far this year. Their record, 2 wins and a loss, that 1 defeat coming last week, an upset at the hands of South Carolina. As for the University of Alabama, 5 national titles, 18 Southeastern Conference crowns, best record over the past 25 years in college football, the best 10 years in college football. Yet, since the end of the 1981 season, their record, only 17 wins and 11 losses. That Alabama mystique is beginning to fade. Right now, their record, 1 win and 3 losses. Hello, everybody. I'm Corey McFerrin. Going to have a good football game today. You talk about Southern football, you talk about 2 teams usually. You talk about Georgia and you talk about Alabama. These 2 clubs have won or shared the Southeastern Conference crown 12 of the last 13 years. And although they haven't played since 1977, the rivalry goes back quite a long ways. With us now is Lee Grosskopf. And Lee, these guys have been playing before you even started watching football, right?
And I think that's one for Ripley. This is a long and storied rivalry that does date all the way back to the turn of the century. In fact, when it all started back in 1895. Pop Warner was actually the coach for the University of Georgia. Through the years, of course, there have been some exciting games, some controversial games, and many great players have come out of the rivalry.
Can you tell the University of Alabama is coming on the field right now? One interesting note. Vince Dooley, 20 years ago last month, began his college coaching career at Tuscaloosa. He was 32 years old, and a lot of things have happened since then.
Well, that was an ego-deflating experience for him, but since then he has gone on to be the dean of SEC coaches. He is essentially a fundamentalist, and he believes very strongly in the concept of I-formation football and also very much in tough defense. Now, his counterpart, of course, is Ray Perkins, who is now in his second season at Alabama after a great rookie year where his team went 8-4. This is going to be a pivotal game for him because the team is 1-3. That's the worst start for the Tide since 1957.
Let's talk about personnel for a second, the quarterback position. Georgia will go with a junior from Waycross, Georgia, by the name of Todd Williams. Alabama counters with a freshman from LaGrange, Georgia, Vince Sutton. Neither player really has played exceptionally well thus far.
Todd Williams particularly has had problems in recent weeks with interceptions, and I think today is going to be an important game not only physically but emotionally for him, because it's going to depend, this is going to really dictate his self-confidence for the remainder of the season. Now, Vince Sutton is a freshman. We know that he has the talent, but he is short on game experience. Many people felt that he was the premier high school quarterback in the country in 1983. So the main thing that he needs right now is game experience. Should he falter, his backup will be Mike Shula. And, of course, we know he is the son of Don Shula, literally grew up with the Miami Dolphins and football.
What would you say, if you're looking at the game, they've got some similar problems offensively. Both defenses fairly solid. What's the key today? What do you look for out here?
I think the key for both teams is that they're going to have to establish something offensively. Both teams are solid in terms of their defense. They are very sound in terms of their kicking game, but they are young offensively. And I think the team that comes out and establishes something with their offense is going to be the team that probably will carry on and win the football game.
Defensively, both teams are more veteran, more experienced in that area, and we should see some fine play on that side of the ball today.
And also, I think the kicking game is something that could well decide the football game today. We have some of the best kickers in the country on both teams.
Kevin Butler and Van Tiffin, keeping an eye on them all day today. The Alabama Crimson Tide and the Georgia Bulldogs today from Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. 75,000 plus on hand. Should be a good one. We'll have it all for you. Kickoff is coming up in just one moment.
The enemy. Rain. A mere 1/8 inch can float your car off the road. Thus the rationale for Vector, Goodyear's unique all-season radio. So advanced, its crisscross tread actually pumps away water to help more tire and your car stay on the road. The Goodyear Vector. It simply performs like no other tire in the world.
Some things look hard, but once you know the secret, they're easy. It's easy. Some people think financing a new car is hard, but it isn't. It's easy.
It's as easy as GMAC.
With GMAC, buying or leasing a new GM car or truck is easy. Ask your GM dealer and see how easy it is. Financing a new car may seem hard, but once you know the secret,
It's as easy as GMAC.
it's easy.
Look at you, you're not the same as you were yesterday. You're looking smarter, you're on the move, and going your own way. And JCPenney's changed with you. You're looking smarter than ever.
When we made our pinstripe suit, we didn't overlook the details, because we know you don't. From styling to stitching, tailored to succeed. The Stafford Collection.
You're looking smarter than ever, JCPenney.
When you're the boss of a business with one computer and more than one person who needs it, you're a boss with a problem. The solution is Xenix, the multi-user system from Radio Shack. Xenix allows separate workstations to share the same information base and operate simultaneously. And as your business grows, you can add more terminals so that everyone's productive, even the boss. The sale price Xenix multi-user computer, only at Radio Shack Computer Centers.
Head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide, Ray Perkins, in his second season, talking things over with the referee. We've got a game time. Temperature is 77 degrees. The wind's a little windy up here in the booth, 10 miles an hour south to southwest. Alabama, as you can tell, will be kicking it off to the University of Georgia. You can see the wind taking care of the Alabama flag pretty well. All kinds of red here in this stadium today. The Crimson of Alabama and that bright red the University of Georgia followers wear to each one of their games. Back to receive for the University of Georgia, number 24. That is Cassius Osborne, outstanding freshman. Andre Smith, number 35, is also back to receive. This is Terry Sanders about to kick it off. We're underway at Legion Field. Smith, 20, 25, across the 30-yard line. Well, the Georgia offense will take over. Todd Williams is your quarterback. Lars Tate, outstanding freshman from Indianapolis, Indiana. Andre Smith, they call him Pulpwood. He's a good one. Jimmy Hockaday, the flanker out of Nashville, a junior. Herman Archie, the best receiver on this club from Columbus, Georgia. That's what it looks like offensively for the Bulldogs. They'll take it over on the 31-yard line. The give to Smith. Couple yards, that's about it. Scott McRae on the tackle. Here's Georgia now with Scott Williams, Mike Weaver, the big guy at right tackle. Jimmy Holton, the right guard out of Bainbridge, Georgia. Peter Anderson from New Jersey, he's your center. The main man experience-wise on this offensive line. Kim Stevens, his second start for Georgia. Wilbur Strozier moving from tight end to left tackle today. Second down. Hockaday in motion. This is Lars Tate. He's hit immediately. Gets a couple yards up close to the 35-yard line. John Hand, the leading tackler for the University of Alabama, makes the stop for the tie. With a flag on the play. Defensive line for Alabama, as you say, John Hand, the man to watch here. Kurt Jarvis, also a tough one. Brent Soule, the defensive tackle, obviously the penalty against Alabama. Defensive linebackers, you got Rockwell, King, and Bennett. Defensive backfield, Vernon Wilkinson, Freddie Robinson, Paul Tripoli, and Britton Cooper.
15 first down. Pull in the face mask.
Face mask against Alabama, first down, and suddenly the Georgia Bulldogs have the football at midfield. Lars Tate up the middle, gets by one man and powers his way inside the Alabama 45 where Randy Rockwell makes the stop.
Corey, that is indicative of what Georgia likes to do. We talked about this at the top of the show. They are a tailback-oriented team. Vince Dooley believing very strongly in the concept of I-formation football. If he had his brothers, he'd get that ball to his tailback 30, 40 times a game and just pound on you.
2nd and 4. Andre Smith breaks away, 30, 25, he may score, 10, 5, touchdown, Georgia. What a way to start a football game, 44 yards. Andre Smith, sophomore from Douglas, Georgia, the leading rusher on this football club. He scored on a 50-yard run versus Southern Miss earlier in the year. Watch it again, Lee Grosskopf.
Andre Smith, a.k.a. Pulpwood, over his right guard. Holton and Weaver clear the way. A big opening over the right side, and then it's just a foot race to the end zone. The leading ball carrier on the team coming into today's game, and also up there in receiving.
Kevin Butler on to attempt the extra point. It is up. It is good. And at the 13:32 mark of the first quarter, the Georgia Bulldogs take a 7-0 lead. Quite a start for the Dogs. Back with more from Legion Field in just a moment.
If you've got what it takes and really care, there's a special kind of life you'll want to share. Serving your country's a special call. It's good for you, it's good for all. Not all who try fit the bill. It calls for brains, it calls for skill in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. High-tech and the services go hand in hand. It's a whole new world. You're in demand in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. You'll move up, you'll feel proud. You'll stand out above the crowd in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. But most of all, you'll earn the respect of the people and country you're there to protect. In the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, it's a great place to start. In the rarefied world of $40,000 luxury sedans, the BMW 733i is rare indeed. For it not only offers a host of luxury appointments, it also offers something quite uncommon in this class, high performance.
Morning, Wilson. Morning, sir.
Perhaps that's why chauffeur-driven BMWs are seldom driven, and by their chauffeurs.
Buckled up, Wilson?
Buckled up, sir.
Back at Legion Field, Georgia about to kick it off, 7-0. The Dogs grab a quick lead here on the 44-yard run from touchdown by Andre Smith for the Bulldogs. Their first touchdown of the first quarter so far this year.
Watch the blocking on the right side between Holton and Weaver. Quick hitting play on the right side. And look at this, nobody home in the secondary. Breaks the tackle there and on in for the touchdown.
Chester Braggs in the end zone, elects to bring it out. Bad decision. He's taken down on the 11-yard line. On the stop, it was Tony Mangrum. Vince Sutton is your quarterback, freshman from LaGrange, Georgia. Paul Ott-Caruth, the halfback. He's a tough one, as is Ricky Moore, all SEC last season. Also on the offensive side for Alabama, Greg Richardson. He's the #1 man in terms of speed on this club. A surprising freshman from Nashville, Clay Whitehurst, is your split end. 13:27 to go, first quarter. Alabama's first offensive series. Caruth, and he is tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Henry Harris, the sophomore from Decatur, Georgia, makes the big play. The Dogs are pumped up. Thornton Chandler, the tight end for Alabama. Willard Schism at right tackle out of Huntsville. John McIntosh, the right guard. He hails from Dalton, Georgia. Wes Neighbors, perhaps the best guy on this line. He's from Huntsville. Mike White from Decatur, Georgia, your left guard. And big guy, Hoss Johnson. Like to have a Hoss in every football game. There is a flag on the play. Officials discussing with Knox Culpepper, the outstanding linebacker for Georgia, what this thing's all about. It appears to be against Bama. Holding penalty declined. It'll be second down, and they're calling it 10. Georgia's defensive line, Calvin Ruff, Donald Chumley, Henry Harris, the man to make that outstanding play a moment ago. Kenny Sims, a guy to watch, as is Carlisle Hewitt. Second and 12 is the official count. Moore powering. Gets 3, maybe 4 yards. Knox Culpepper, an All-American candidate, the leading tackler on this club, at one linebacker, along with Bill Mitchell, the secondary, Flack, Harris, Little, and Jeff Sanchez. 3rd and 7. Sutton gives it to Moore. He's going nowhere. The big guy, Knox Culpepper, is there to make the stop, and Alabama will have to punt it away. And the Dogs fans in attendance here at Legion Field, and there are quite a few, enjoying the show thus far.
Questionable call there on 3rd and what would normally be a passing down. But we mentioned at the top that Ray Perkins, although some people think of him as a passing coach, is essentially a fundamentalist, somewhat conservative in many ways.
This is Terry Sanders on to punt the ball away for Bama, 35.1 yard average. Having a rough year so far. Plenty of time here. Ball is taken by Jimmy Harrell, and Harrell gets across midfield down close to the 40-yard line. A good run back by Harrell. Once again, Georgia has great field position. A return of 16 yards. 7-0. Dogs lead.
Nobody sweats the details like GM.
What makes Peerless America's #1 do-it-yourself washerless faucet?
It goes in fast. It's built to last.
It's even warranted.
It lasts a long, long time. No tools to use. You just can't lose.
And look, it doesn't grip. It lasts a long, long time.
Peerless
Peerless washerless faucet installs in no time.
And lasts a long time.
It lasts a long, long time.
Peerless installs in no time, lasts a long time.
In Game 3 of the National League Championship Series, the Padres had Chicago climbing the wall. A 3-run blast from Kevin McReynolds helped bust the Cubs 7-1. San Diego can tie it up tonight at 8 Eastern.
11 minutes, 53 seconds to go here in the first quarter. The Georgia Bulldogs off to a quick start. It's 7-0. They have possession of the football on the Alabama 40-yard line.
And if you believe in field position, statistics show that when you get the ball like this, you should score 70% of the time. Let's see if that holds up.
Todd Williams will pitch it back. This is Lars Tate. Pounding inside the 35-yard line for Alabama. Let's take another look at the touchdown, the 44-yard run by Andre Pulpwood Smith.
Perfect blocking on the right side with Holton and Weaver. I don't think he's ever touched. Right there, their hand that gets on him by Britton Cooper, number 20, but that's all. That's like a clinic. That's the way you draw it up on the chalkboard and hope you can run it in practice and in a game.
Fred Lane in motion. Andre Smith again, another big opener. He's going to score again. 10-5 touchdown. And Georgia blowing out the Alabama Crimson Tide at the line of scrimmage. A 34-yard run. Incredible. A 44-yard run and a 34-yard run. The Georgia Bulldogs off to a 2-touchdown lead. And Nick Groskopf, we weren't expecting this.
This time, it was the identical play to the left side. The key blocks by the center and the guard. Anderson and Stevens.
Kick by Butler is good. Andre Smith, 3 carries, 80 yards, and a couple of touchdowns. Vince Dooley got to be ecstatic about the opening here for the Dogs.
The key fullback play in the I formation is simply this, the power dive on the left side. He gives it a good read. He sees pressure to the outside, cuts back to the inside, and once again, Alabama jamming the line of scrimmage. No one is there in the secondary. And once again, there's nobody between him and the end zone. The blocks that made it possible on the left side, Stevens and Anderson, and the cutback right there by Andre Pulpwood Smith. Mike Weaver comes across from the right side and also gets into the action on John Hand. He's the man blocking on big John Hand today. Excellent execution along the entire offensive line by Georgia. Uga, Roman numeral 4.
He's looking good today. He may end up with some treats before the day is out.
And if you don't know, UGA, UGA, stands for
University of Georgia. That isn't
Very
too tough,
simple.
Cup. Come on.
Not so tough.
You know, we talked about at the top of the show about the fact that Georgia's offense had been sputtering and struggling, and certainly with this kind of performance, that perhaps has come to an end. Not much of a drive. 2 plays, 40 yards, takes 40 seconds. In a matter of 2 minutes and 8 seconds, the Dogs put on a couple of touchdowns. It's 14-0. Butler to kick it off. It's out of the end zone, so they'll bring it up to the 30-yard line. A new rule in college football this year. If it goes out of the end zone, it's the 30, not the 20. Kevin Butler, All-American candidate, University of Georgia. All-time SEC field goal leader. He's a guy to keep your eye on today.
And one of the great kickers in the history of major college football.
He is something. We saw him a couple weeks back beat the Clemson Tigers in the final seconds with a 60-yard field goal lead that I'm telling you could have made it. Could have been a 70-yard. I'm serious. 1st and 10 for Alabama at the 30-yard line. Sutton is still your quarterback. This is Paulette Carruth. Slips by one man, but the Dogs' defense comes up. Sanchez and John Little are there to make the stop. Gain of just a couple yards on the play.
Sanchez, of course, the ringleader of the Bulldogs secondary. He was a starter for them the entire 1982 season. Redshirted because of an injury in 1983. They are glad to have him back.
Sanchez is tough. Back in '82, made 9 interceptions to lead the nation. I should say to be number 2nd in the nation that year. There's Ray Perkins. in desperate need of a victory today. 1 win, 3 losses, tied, fans growing impatient. Vince Sutton's first throw of the afternoon to Ricky Moore, and Moore's got a first down at the 48-yard line of Alabama. Gain of 15 yards on the play.
Good play action that time coming to the left side. Ricky Moore, the leading receiver on the team. They throw a lot to their backs. He runs a little flat pattern to the left side. Touch and timing pass there, nicely thrown by Sutton. Bill Mitchell, number 56, is the man who brings Moore down after the first down.
Ricky Moore, a chance to be Alabama's leading rusher for 3 consecutive years. The give is to Moore. He drives his way up the middle, across midfield, where he's brought down by Knox Culpepper. A little help from Jeff Sanchez. Moore is 6 feet, 235 pounds, a senior from Huntsville.
Coming into this season, excuse me, Corey, coming into this season, he had 6 consecutive 100-yard rushing games. He has yet to have a 100-yard game in 1984. However, he is the team's leading pass receiver.
In fact, coming in, he'd only totaled 146 yards, a 3.4 average. They say he's becoming a little frustrated. Tries the right side for a couple, hurdles 1 man. Henry Harris is there to make the stop.
Good job of jamming the line of scrimmage there by the Bulldogs. Their base look defensively is what's known as a split 60. That goes all the way back to the days of Irk Russell. He brought the split 60 look to the Bulldogs, and it's become a tradition. However, they're much more sophisticated now than when Irk was here. They still have that as their base look, but it's kind of a smorgasbord.
3rd and 3. Sutton will throw. It is successful to near side, and Clay Whitehurst, and he should have the first down. Kevin Harris forces him out, and Clay Whitehurst, interesting story. Here's a guy who wasn't even recruited highly by the University of Alabama. He's a freshman. He is starting, and he came to Bama to be part of a national championship team. Watch Moore.
Moore is also an outstanding blocker. You've seen him do just about everything. Good runner. The leading receiver on the team, and that time he cut down Knox Culpepper, number 48, who was blitzing that time for the Dogs.
Penalty, let's listen in.
Offense, 3rd down.
Bad break for Alabama. Illegal motion sets up a 3rd and 3 instead of a first down.
That is the 3rd penalty against the Crimson Tide. Of course, that first face mask penalty gave the Dogs outstanding field position.
3rd and 8. Sutton. Plenty of time, lofts it out, intended for Whitehurst, overthrown, gets a hand on it, but that's about it. Kevin Harris is there to defend along with John Little. Good coverage by Georgia.
We talked about the lack of game experience and reading coverages. Remember that Vince Sutton, as we said at the very top, only a freshman. He made the Parade All-American high school team, USA Today All-American. Many people felt he was the top high school quarterback in America in 1983. But still lacks game experience at the college level and has to learn a whole new system.
Sanders to punt for Alabama. A little bit of a rush there. Gets it off, though. Jimmy Harrell is back to receive a short kick. That's Tony Flack at the 22-yard line. Well, Georgia will take over on offense once again. They lead by a score of 14-0 with 8:51 to go in the first quarter.
MasterCard. Find me a bargain.
MasterCard International. So worldly, so welcome. So worldly, so welcome.
Maybe something in blue.
MasterCard International.
MasterCard, you're so chic.
The final basket. Match point. The last lap. Right now, your body's thirsty for more than water. It needs Thirst Aid. Gatorade.
Gatorade is Thirst Aid for that deep down body thirst.
When you exercise, you lose more than water. You lose potassium, minerals, fluids. Gatorade puts it all back fast. It's no ordinary thirst quencher. It's Thirst Aid.
Gatorade is Thirst Aid for that deep down body thirst.
It's going to be a wild one Monday night when the undefeated San Francisco 49ers meet Lawrence Taylor and the New York Giants, and you'll see it right here on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football.
Dogs lead by a score of 14-0, but a big break for Alabama moments ago on that punt, a holding call against Georgia. Alabama gets the football back, a first down on the Georgia 41-yard line.
And that is the first time the Tide have had opportune field position, the first time that they have started a drive inside the 50-yard line.
Don't forget about the National League Championship Series. Game 4 tonight on ABC. The Cubs and the Padres, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. A victory will clinch it for Chicago. Ricky Moore, not much. Bill Mitchell, the 6'1", 219-pound junior from Dalton, Georgia, is there, as is Knox Culpepper.
Ricky Moore trying to pound on the right side there. One of the things we talked about was the youth of the Alabama offense. This is one of the youngest teams they have had in a long time. Likewise for Vince Dooley. In fact, he told us yesterday his youngest team in 21 years.
Second and 9. Sutton will throw far side. It's complete to Greg Richardson, where he's tackled immediately by Tony Flack at the 35-yard line. Richardson, a real burner. The guy can fly if he gets open.
Well, he's the fastest man on the team with 4.4 speed in the 40-yard dash. 5'9", 166. He had 6 catches coming into today's game. You saw the cushion that they had to give him there because of that speed.
Vince Sutton will throw again, but this time he is stopped behind the line, back at the 45-yard line. That is Calvin Ruff, number 86.
Multiple fronts here by Georgia. This is one of the things that their coaches told us yesterday, is that they were going to show a lot of different looks, do everything they could to confuse the freshman quarterback, Vince Sutton.
Calvin Ruff, number 86, with help from Andre Holmes. Makes it 4th and 13. And once again, Alabama will have to punt it away. Terry Sanders, a workout so far here in the first quarter. Jimmy Harrell, number 82, back to receive for the Dogs. Here we go. You hear the whistles. They'll try it again here. Alabama with 3 losses this year, to Boston College, to Georgia Tech, and to Vanderbilt. Georgia, 2 wins and a victory. Their 1 loss coming to South Carolina.
Delay the game, infraction of 25-second count. Offense.
Sets it back a few more yards, makes it 4th and 18. Jimmy Harrell looks confused out there.
4 penalties already against Alabama.
Harrell at the 13, a fair catch. Good look at some of the fans here at Legion Field. The Dogs in command so far. More action coming at you after this.
I'm Mr. Goodwrench. You know what starts when your engine starts? Engine wear.
50 strokes, 100 strokes, 200 piston strokes of wear per second. Only a fine lubricant can protect it. Introducing new GM Goodwrench Motor Oil, the motor oil from General Motors that meets or exceeds all GM specifications.
Great protection from me, Mr. Goodwrench.
To keep that great GM feeling with genuine GM parts.
Sears National Hardware Sale. Save now on this Craftsman 7 1/4-inch circular saw or this Craftsman variable speed reversible drill. Both half price, now $39.99. Save on this top 10-inch Craftsman radial saw or 10-inch Craftsman table saw outfit, each $299.99. You'll find more tough hardware at hard-to-beat prices right now at the National Hardware Sale.
There's more for your life at Sears.
Back at Legion Field, the scoreboard tells a story. Under 7 minutes to go here in the first quarter, the Dogs with a 14-0 lead. They have the football on their own 13-yard line. Todd Williams is your quarterback. Lars Tate, Andre Smith, your running backs. Jimmy Hockaday in motion. This is Smith already with 2 touchdowns today, but John Hand comes up to make the big stop. Let's now check in with Jim Lampley in New York.
Corey, it's been a hard luck year for George Perlis and Michigan State, but here is a victory which will keep the Wolves away from the door, quite literally. 19-7 over Michigan's Wolverines today for the Spartans after their pregame pep talk from Kirk Gibson. Let's go back to Corey McFerrin at Legion Field.
Thank you, Jim. Back to live action. This is Lars Tate. He breaks away across the 30-yard line. Rory Turner makes the stop, and for a half second we thought he might be off to the races as well. 17-yard gain. Let's watch it again.
Lars Tate on the tailback blast play right here, and he is one of 3 tailbacks who will be seeing action today. He is a gifted freshman with all kinds of speed.
First and 10, 32-yard line. The give is to number 32, Lars Tate, who dives across the 35 to about the 38-yard line. Lars Tate gained more than 17, make it 1,400 yards in high school, North Central High School, Indianapolis, Indiana. Unbelievable 9.5-yard average in high school. A Parade Magazine All-American. His first start of his collegiate career today against the Crimson Tide. 2nd and 5. That's Tate in motion. Andre Smith. Not much for Andre.
Can't hear you.
Third and 1. 41-yard line of Georgia. 75,000 plus here at Legion Field. First time these two clubs have met in Vince Dooley's coaching career here at Legion Field. David McCluskey in motion. The give to Smith. He dives, or to Tate, I should say. He dives. We'll have to wait and see if he gets the first down. Fourth and less than a foot. It looks like Vince Dooley says, let's go for it. Vince Dooley, the 3rd winningest coach among active coaches in college football today. Big play. Let's see what happens. Tate, he's got it.
I think forward progress will give it to him.
Cliff Thomas makes the stop there for Alabama. See it again here, Cupper.
See right here, I think his forward progress there gave him the necessary yardage. He was hit by number 99, Cliff Thomas.
First down, Georgia. Todd Williams going to throw, tosses it out to Tate. Not going to fool anybody. Paul Tripoli with help from Freddie Robinson. A loss on the play for the Bulldogs. Paul Tripoli, the veteran in that secondary. The number 1 big play man on this Alabama team with 9 of them. That's things like passes blocked, tackles for loss, things of that nature. How about this graphic, Cupper? That tells a story, huh?
That shows the real domination of the Dogs thus far in the football game.
Cleveland Gary in the ball game for the first time. Up the gut for 3 or 4, back near the line of scrimmage.
Tate, Gary, and Tron Jackson are the 3 tailbacks expected to see action today. Of course, it's been so hard replacing that great one, Herschel Walker.
You just don't replace a guy like Herschel Walker. A lot of the Bulldog fans keep saying, is Tate the new Herschel? Is Cleveland Gary the new Herschel? Well, not many people are going to be the new Herschel. 3rd and 12, the fake. Williams running, still on his feet. He will keep it, and he gets nowhere. Back to the line of scrimmage. And Alabama's defense stiffens here in the final couple minutes of the first quarter. Cornelius Bennett, excellent linebacker out of Birmingham, is the man to make the play on Todd Williams. Greg Richardson back to receive. For the first time today, we will see Chip Andrews punting for Georgia, averaging almost 47 yards. That punt nearly blocked. Richardson backpedaling. He is smothered at the 14-yard line. That is quite a hit by Kenny Driscoll. Alabama takes over on offense, but right now let's take a quick visit to the University of Georgia campus in Athens.
In 1985, America will celebrate another bicentennial, the 200th anniversary of state-supported higher education. 9 years after the Declaration of Independence, our nation's first state university was created by the people of Georgia. Since that time, the University of Georgia has become a center of excellence in teaching, research, and public service. Today, America's oldest chartered state university is ready for its 3rd century of service.
Just seconds ago, Ricky Moore took the ball, pounded over the right side for a yard or two. Going to call it 2nd and 7 for Alabama on their own 19-yard line.
Once again, the Tide starts with poor field position. One of the factors thus far in the football game.
Vince Sutton is your quarterback. Draw play, Paul Ott-Carruth.
Paul Ott-Carruth, number 16, who just carried the ball, had 3 years as a wishbone player, set out last season with an injury. They're glad to have him back this year because of his experience.
He is the leading rusher on this club, 261 yards, and he was hurt, as a matter of fact, on the final play of the 1982 spring game. Had to sit out all last year, made the recovery.
He's also the 2nd leading pass receiver on the team.
Quite a ball player. There's a man down in the field. We can take a break and visit the Alabama campus in Tuscaloosa.
At the University of Alabama, we continue to receive national acclaim as we develop a major research university.
Tuscaloosa auto workers will keep their jobs due to an innovative partnership between the University of Alabama, General Motors, and the UAW.
Venture with GM and IBM. The University of Alabama has purchased one of the most sophisticated computer systems in this region.
Alabama's Ronald Reagan Chair of Broadcasting was officially dedicated.
At the University of Alabama, behind every story, there is always a commitment to quality.
Less than a minute to go here in the first quarter, Legion Field, Birmingham, Alabama. Thornton Chandler just moments ago taken to the sideline, the tight end for the Alabama Crimson Tide. There he is, hobbling off. Looks like a problem with the right leg. Hope it's not too serious. Preston Gothard is in to replace Thornton Chandler at tight end. 3rd and 5. Sutton fakes. He is rushed. He is hit. John Little comes up to make the big play on the 3rd down. 14-yard loss on the play. John Little comes out of nowhere.
The wrong call at the wrong time. Play action fake. Sutton trying to roll outside to get corner control. Little right there in his face.
So it's way back now to the 6-yard line, and once again Terry Sanders is in to punt for Alabama, and once again Georgia may find themselves with excellent field position. Good-looking kick. Jimmy Harrell, 42 of Georgia. Not going anywhere. He is smothered right there. Still, though, not bad field position. 52-yard punt, a return of 1 yard. And that will do it at the end of 1 quarter. The Georgia Bulldogs lead the Alabama Crimson Tide by a score of 14-0. 3 quarters remain at Legion Field. Back with more in a moment.
The insulation is ready, and the time is now. It's all up to you to beat those high home heating and air conditioning costs. So get rolling. Add an extra layer of Owens Corning Pink Attic blanket insulation and score energy savings. If you act now, you'll get a free warm-up jacket with the emblem of your favorite NFL team. A great offer, only from Owens Corning.
Sharp introduces its Computer to Go, the PC 5000.
That Sharp may have a printer, but it can't possibly have 128K power like my desktop IBM.
Sure, and it expands to 256.
That Sharp can't possibly do word processing and communication and spreadsheets like my desktop IBM.
Sure, with bubble memory program.
Well, what doesn't it do?
It doesn't stay glued to a desktop.
Like my IBM.
Sharp's affordable, portable Computer to Go, the PC 5000. From Sharp minds come Sharp products.
There we were in no man's land, when the moving truck died in the sun and the sand. So since it seemed we'd be a while, we set up house and we waited in style. And we waited, and we waited, and we waited. Now I know Ryder and some newer. They're tougher, they're strong, and driving a bargain sure didn't pay. So next time I'll think this way, it's Ryder or it's wrong.
Life's not always easy, and no one said it's fair.
Only one card provides peace of mind for nearly 80 million Americans, the Blue Cross and Blue Shield card.
But you can find some peace of mind when you hold on to the one that cares. Carry on with the life you're living. Carry the caring card.
The Blue Cross and Blue Shield card.
Jim Lampley again in New York. Quickly, 3 finals from the Southeast you may not have gotten. Clemson kept the long home winning streak alive. Also, Syracuse, which controlled the ball on the ground all day against Nebraska last week, got under 50 yards rushing against Florida today. South Carolina cruised to its 4th consecutive victory, 49-17 over Kansas State. Now let's go back to Corey McFerrin in Legion Field.
Thank you, Jim. Part of the University of Alabama's $1 Million Band. And so far, they're not having all that much to cheer about here. Georgia with the football as we begin the second quarter. Todd Williams rolling and firing. Nobody there intended for Scott Williams or perhaps David McCluskey. Todd Williams this year, 51% completion rate. He's had 6 interceptions this year, 5 of those 2 weeks ago against Clemson. He's taken every snap this year. 6 feet, 173 pounds. Out of Waycross, Georgia. 2nd and 10. Cleveland Garrett. Not much.
The father of Todd Williams played for Georgia back around the same time that Fran Tarkenton was here. Todd told me yesterday he admired Fran. What's most amazing about these first quarter stats is the second line. Look at this, Corey. Georgia, 130 rushing yards, counting the sacks now. Alabama, a net of 0.
3rd and 8. Williams to throw, gets some pressure, then gets it off. This is Gary. Tries to spin away, but he's hit hard at the 35-yard line by a couple of Bama defenders. And Georgia gets nothing offensively. Going to have to punt it away, and suddenly you feel some of that momentum beginning to change.
In talking with Ray Perkins earlier today, he told me that his team would have to be more opportunistic. When they got good field position, when they got some momentum, they were going to have to start taking advantage of their opportunities. They have not done that so far offensively in 1984.
Big rush, look out. Almost blocked, but Andrews gets it off. Not a very good punt. Gets a great Georgia bounce, however, inside the 30. Rolling around. It'll be down at about the 28. I believe that ball was tipped, perhaps by Lewis Dean. It's a punt of only 27 yards. Obviously no return. Bama crowd is fired up.
Time. It takes time to create quality. The quality taste of Budweiser. Time to select the choicest ingredients. For exclusive Beechwood aging, to brew the distinctively clean, crisp taste of Budweiser. Quality taste. That's what people want in a cold glass of beer. And this is the one they want. Somebody still cares about quality.
Evenings from 5 to 11, AT&T saves me 40% on long-distance calls. What could be better?
Sold for $100.
We
weekends, I get 60% off with AT&T.
What could be better?
You don't have to give up any service to save. That's what's better. Only AT&T gives you operator service, calls from anywhere to anywhere, and up to 60% off.
Now, that's what I like to hear.
That's AT&T. The more you hear, the better we sound.
Reach out and touch someone.
We've got 13:33 to go. Georgia ahead by 2 touchdowns. Bama trying to work on that score a little bit. Vince Sutton is at quarterback. Vince last week went 14 of 37 against Vanderbilt, hoping to improve on that today. This is Paul Otkaruth. Tries the right side. Not much room for him to roam there. Calvin Ruff, number 86, the man credited with the tackle.
Once again, the Bulldogs doing a good job of jamming the line of scrimmage in that split 60 look. They will show you really a whole lot of multiple fronts, various dogs, and a lot of different coverages in the secondary. So they're very, very multiple with their defenses.
2nd and 8. The freshman quarterback sets and delivers. Got a man, but he overthrows him. Greg Richardson streaking down the sidelines. Appeared to have a couple steps on his man. The ball overthrown. 3rd and 8.
Richardson, who has been effective as a return man at times, ran a straight fly pattern that time. Ball was thrown into coverage, however.
Richardson high school coach, Williamson High School in Mobile, Alabama, a guy by the name of Fred Burks, is said to have said about Richardson that he's seen him catch a ball and go 7 different ways at once. Give you an idea what kind of moves this guy's got. Sutton flips it off. Paul Otkaruth. It's going to work. 30, 35, 40. Knocked out of bounds by Kevin Harris. First down, Alabama. Big play as Sutton hits Caruth for the big gainer.
Paul Otkaruth, who we've talked about as the leading rusher and 2nd leading receiver on the team, is going to run a little swing pattern here, coming from his right halfback position across the field and then flaring out into the left flat. It's a foot race to the sidelines, and Kevin Harris, number 20, runs him down there.
First down, Sutton tries it the other way. This time, nothing doing. Ricky Moore is smashed by Knox Culpepper as the ball was thrown. Ricky had no chance. That ball almost could have been picked off there.
That's when a back comes back to the quarterback and says, please don't throw that ball like that again. Look at this. He lobs it up in the air. He has to wait for it. And then right in his face is the leading tackler in the secondary for the Bulldogs, linebacker Knox Culpepper, the senior, number 48. Culpepper's father played quarterback for Georgia back in the mid-50s.
In fact, Knox and his father, the only father-son combination ever be featured on the front of the Georgia Media Guide, which has got to be some kind of a record somehow. Sutton gives it off. The Paul Otkaruth still struggling for yardage. Gets up to about the 42.
Ray Perkins, as we mentioned, is sometimes thought of as a passing coach, but he told me earlier today that he prefers the 2-to-1 ratio in terms of running and passing. He himself, of course, a great receiver for the Crimson Tide back in the mid-60s. He caught from 3 different quarterbacks: Joe Namath, Steve Sloan, and then Ken Stabler.
Not a bad trio. 3rd and 5. Just under 12 minutes to go for the half. Sutton releases as he backpedals. He's got Preston Gothard, and he's got another first down, I do believe, for Alabama.
Preston Gothard, the tight end, number 86, is most effective running either quick in or quick out patterns. His numbers you see reflected there. He has the size you like in a tight end and also very sure hands.
Hasn't played in 2 weeks. Gothard hasn't, out with bruised ribs. 1st and 10, 46-yard line of Georgia. Sutton, this time bullet pass, intercepted, I do believe. It is Steve Boswell for Georgia. And just like that, as the momentum began to swing around, Georgia comes up with a big defensive play, and the ball belongs to them.
Exactly. That's the type of play you can look back on when you're watching the films, and you can say, this is where the game might have turned for Alabama, but instead it turned for Georgia. A big play by the backup linebacker, number 44, Steve Boswell. Straight drop back. He slides a little to his left. Now look at that. Perfect timing as he steps in front of Clay Whitehurst, number 82, who was trying to run a curl-in route on the left side.
Todd Williams hands the ball off. Andre Smith almost breaks it open up close to midfield.
Andre Pulpwood Smith. What are his brothers' names?
Chainsaw and Sawdust.
Sawdust. Most unusual nicknames I've ever heard for a trio of brothers.
Andre is from Douglas, Georgia. The story is he worked on a pulpwood truck for a long time and got that nickname. Also used to hit home runs over some big pine trees in high school. And his baseball coach called him that because they make pulpwood out of pine trees. Second man through, Lars Tate across midfield.
Well, Pulpwood has made sawdust out of the Bama defense thus far today.
I love it. Very well done. No matter what you call him, he's a heck of an athlete. A good baseball player, too. He was drafted by the Angels out of high school, but chose to go to school and play some football, and I think Vince Dooley's pretty happy about that.
You know, he reminds me a little bit of Jimmy Womack off of the 1980 team that featured Herschel Walker in his freshman year. That's the team that went on to win the national championship.
Smith so far, as they check for the first down, 5 carries, 92 yards, and a couple of scores, which isn't a bad half of work.
And he's just getting started. It's all been on basically the same play, the fullback dive or drive play, in which he starts off the right guard, and he can either break it inside or outside. Both times he's broken it a little bit back toward the inside, and there's been nobody home in the secondary because Alabama was jamming the line of scrimmage.
This guy only played in the JV team last year. Didn't even play in the varsity. First down for Georgia, as you can tell. Todd Williams calls a timeout. Didn't like what he saw on the Alabama defensive front. He'll check it out as Uga looks on. He's happy so far. Georgia 14, Alabama zip.
It has a 6-cylinder engine borrowed from the BMW 528e. A computerized engine management system from the BMW 733i. And a suspension derived from the BMW 633 CSI. Introducing the only car morally entitled to borrow these innovations from BMW. The BMW 325e.
Catch the rays, feel the heat, breeze on out to the summer beach. Turn it loose with the silver bullet. All you have to do is pull it. Grab a hold of a cold Coors Light. The flavor's heavy, the weight is right. The silver bullet won't slow you down. Feel the beat, keep it light, party right. Turn it loose with the silver bullet tonight.
Coors Light beer.
On CFA College football, the nation's best go at it when the #1 ranked Texas Longhorns square off against #3 Oklahoma next Saturday at 3:30 Eastern on ABC.
Georgia Bulldogs going after their first Southeastern Conference victory of the year. Alabama already 0-1 off last week's loss to Vanderbilt. They want to turn things around, even up that record. Fred Lane in motion. The pitch from Williams to Lars Tate. Dives for 3 or 4 up close to the 45-yard line of Alabama.
Lars Tate, number 32, quite a freshman prospect. He has the size you like. He's 6'2", 213. A couple of the coaches told us an interesting thing about him yesterday. They said he has only 2.8% body fat, which means that he's practically all muscle. If he learns to really, if he learns all the tricks of the trade of that tailback position, he could be a great prospect.
2nd and 7. Lars lowers the head. Hits about the 45-yard line. Benson Elder makes the stop. Let's go now to the sidelines and Lynn Swann. Swanee, what's happening?
Well, Corey, coming into this ball game, Georgia came in with respect and fear. Respect for a ball club that's much more talented than Alabama's 1-3 record, and fear that they wouldn't explode against the Georgia football team. That's all been translated into an excitement and enthusiasm as they came out fired out for this ball game, and they've caught the Alabama Tide very flat.
Thank you, Lynn. You know, Ray Perkins said they've played 3 real good teams in Boston College, Tech, and Vandy, but this Georgia team, he says, is a great team. Todd Williams running for his life, knocked out hard at about the 45-yard line. That is Cornelius Bennett, the man most feared on this Alabama defensive squad. The guy loves to hit.
Number 97, I have a feeling that we're going to see more of him before this day is out. He has been compared to the great Lawrence Taylor. Here he is at his linebacker position. Now watch how he reads the play. He comes up, squares off, good leverage there, low center of gravity, makes the tackle along the sideline. And he executes beautifully at that linebacker position, and he's only a sophomore.
So Georgia will punt for the 3rd consecutive time after opening up the game with 2 touchdowns in their first 2 possessions. This time, it's not a punt. It's Scott Williams. First down, Georgia. Wow. Watch it again. A gadget play works for the University of Georgia. Nobody expecting it.
This is not too characteristic of Vince Dooley football, but that's why it's so effective, because from time to time they'll throw in a gadget play. It's the fake punt. Scott Williams, number 30, takes the direct snap from center, goes off right tackle there, and picks up the valuable first down yardage.
1st and 10, 34-yard line. That's the big play to Scott Williams. Lars Tate scrambles for a couple. Scott Williams is a guy who knows all about carrying the football because he was a fullback last year. In fact, number 2 fullback on this Georgia team, was moved over to tight end this year.
He's also played rover back. They say that this is a guy who is probably the most versatile player on the team, and that whenever there's an opening at a particular position, they just kind of slide him in there because he knows he can play just about anywhere.
He's an excellent athlete, 6'1", 234 pounds. Williams, the fake, the pitch. Cleveland Gary turns the corner. Inside the 30, almost to the 25-yard line. Let's now check in with Jim Lampley in New York. Jim.
Corey, here's the score in the one game involving a highly ranked team being played right now. Purdue has just gotten Everett's 2nd touchdown pass to stay close, but another big day for Keith Byers. For the 11th straight game, he has 2 touchdowns. He ran back a kickoff, only the 3rd one he's touched this year, for 61 yards to set up a field goal. So it's 17-14 Buckeyes. And let's go back to Corey McFerrin.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. 3rd and 3 for Georgia. 28-yard line. Cleveland Gary burst through. I think he has got the first down. I tell you, to have 2 tailbacks like Cleveland Gary and Lars Tate, both of whom are freshmen, is quite... Let's see the first down being called.
And then
quite
they
unusual.
have Tron Jackson to back him up. So they have 3 who are burners. And Tron Jackson particularly, they may save him for the 4th quarter because they like to get him in there when the other team is tired. Cleveland Gary, number 36, one of the 2 freshmen that Corey just talked about. He got a good block there from Mike Weaver, of course, the brother of Eddie Meat Cleaver Weaver, now with the Los Angeles Express in the United States Football League.
Mike's name is simply Jumbo. Nothing quite as interesting as Meat Cleaver, Jumbo, which at 6'2", 280 is a fairly common nickname for someone named at that size, I think.
I'll accept that.
7 minutes to go here in the first half. Georgia, 14-0 lead.
Jumbo and Meat Cleaver. How would you like to get sandwiched by those 2?
Number 63, you saw a pretty good look at Big Mike. To answer your question, no, I would not. Jimmy Hockaday in motion, pitch back. Cleveland Gary inside the 20-yard line. Freddie Robinson knocks Cleveland out.
Pitch to the short side. The 2 predominant plays for the tailback are the blast and the power pitch. They're not using the sprint draw as much with these new tailbacks because they haven't learned to take advantage of the entire field yet. When Herschel Walker was here, of course, that's one of the plays that they used predominantly for Herschel. The sprint draw right and left.
18-yard line. It's 3rd and 4. Tron Jackson. gets a yard at best. And we're going to see Kevin Butler come on. And this is something, the third down conversion is something that Georgia had problems with last week against South Carolina. Only made 4 of 16 opportunities. In fact, they had the ball 3 different times inside the 25-yard line of South Carolina. Could not convert. Having problems close today, at least this time. 34-yard field goal attempt by Kevin Butler. He has missed from 26 and 34 yards in the last 2 weeks. 9 of 12 overall. Kick is up. Looks good, and it is. 34-yard kick from Kevin Butler, the senior from Stone Mountain, Georgia. And the University of Georgia has a 17-0 lead with less than 6 minutes to go here at Legion Field.
There's a time in life for the young to say, I want something else, a different way. The town's the same, the people too. School is over, needs something to do. The services have it, it'll really show. You'll see new places, you'll really grow in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Challenge, adventure, excitement too, a time to enjoy and see something new. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. You'll work hard, feel really free, serving your country for all to see in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Be part of a team, be friends forever. A part of the services you won't forget ever. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. It's a great place to start.
Find special offers, super savings, and plenty more at your home center or hardware store at the Great Fall Hardware Sale now. Save on the new 33-foot Lufkin Power Measuring Tape with wraparound grip and locking blade. Save on ZipGuard Wood Finish, the professional look. Won't chip, crack, craze, or peel, and never needs waxing. Win a millionaire's vacation. Fly free on American Airlines to a luxurious fantasy villa vacation. Look for the savings in these magazines and at participating hardware stores and home centers during the Great Fall Hardware Sale.
It's going to be a wild one Monday night when the undefeated San Francisco 49ers meet Lawrence Taylor and the New York Giants, and you'll see it right here on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football.
If you've just joined us, Georgia, a 17-0 lead. Andre Smith, a 44-yard run early in the first. Andre Smith, a 34-yard run 2 minutes later for a touchdown. And Kevin Butler's field goal moments ago. It is 17-0. We've got 5:56 to go here in the first half. Chester Bragg back to receive, backpedaling. I don't think he's going to grab this one. It is gone. Butler can punch that thing. We brought out to the 30-yard line. But I think there's a flag. As Kevin turns around and heads back. That's a nice move there. Can you do that, Kevin? See that with the foot?
I saw that where he just kind of whipped the tee up with his foot.
It's a skill not many of us possess.
Now remember, the guy is a former soccer player. Let's listen.
Good point.
Offside, kicking team, decline, touchback, first down on the 30.
Let's see that again. Now watch it. Redan High School, Stone Mountain, Georgia. Let's watch it again. He was a big soccer player there. Obviously picked up some skills.
That's a soccer move if I've ever seen one right there. He can do that with his left foot as well. He can kick 40 yards left-footed. Did you know that? A little-known fact.
Kevin Butler. More amazing facts and figures every weekend. Don Horsted, first carry of the game for Alabama. Carried it 5 times prior to today for 25 yards. Coming up next week, big game here on CFA College Football and ABC. #1 ranked Texas versus #5 Oklahoma. Every year, no matter what their rank, it's a great ball game. But this time, got a #1 and a #5 going at it. Should be quite a barn burner, right, Clifford? Sutton fires. It is caught out there. Chester Bragg.
Right, the term shootout has become almost a cliche in college football, but when we talk Texas and Oklahoma, we're talking the real shootout.
That'll be at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. Texas and Oklahoma next week right here on ABC. 4:53 to go. 17-0 Georgia. Alabama's second-string offensive line is in. Vince Sutton throws under pressure. He's got Preston Gothard. First down, Alabama, 46-yard line. Bama fans haven't had much to get excited about today, as you see a couple of Flags out there. Vince Sutton trots back towards the huddle after getting a few words from Ray Perkins. It's against Georgia. We're going to step it off. And Bama is in Bulldog territory. In fact, inside the 40.
Dead ball. Personal foul. First down.
So we have a personal foul after the completion, and that gives them excellent field position. That was the best-looking pass play of the day for Bama. And now they're knocking.
First down just inside the 40. Braggs and Horsted in at the back positions. This is Greg Richardson, the quick pass to the near side. Tony Flack is there immediately.
Tony Flack, the cornerback, had a tough assignment there because he's got a one-on-one situation with a quick man in the open field.
Ray Perkins.
What a player he was for Alabama, and has had a diversified career in coaching, both at the college and professional level.
You mentioned Namath Stabler and Steve Sloan in college. He also played with Johnny Unitas at the pro level. This is Preston Goffard over the middle. He's about 3 yards shy of the first down. So Ray Perkins knows what a good quarterback is all about, obviously. And he likes Vince Sutton a whole lot. Remember, Sutton is a freshman and playing only his 5th game.
He's 7 of 12 now in the passing department for 65 yards. He's been picked off once. That was the one he threw to the linebacker, Steve Boswell, number 44.
Which I'm sure he wishes he had back. Big play, 3rd and 3, 32-yard line. 3:12 to go, first half. And Vince says, let's call time and figure out exactly what we're supposed to do here. So Sutton heads to the sidelines to talk things over with Ray Perkins. We'll take time as well. Georgia leads 17-0 at Legion Field in Birmingham.
When you take one of these things up, you've got a crew to help.
Test pilot Chuck Yeager for AC Delco.
When it comes to my car or truck, I do the work myself. In 40 years, AC spark plugs have never let me down. And with today's technology, AC fire ring spark plugs are engineered to give you up to 30,000 miles reliable performance. Never wait for trouble. Go with AC fire ring spark plugs.
Call 800 AC Delco for a retailer near you.
What would you call a Zenith that puts a 25-inch picture in a 19-inch space?
Smart, real smart.
That's capable of 178 channels, including cable.
Choices are smart.
And for continuous color balance, a computer brain.
A brain is smart.
Plus parental control that locks out channels you don't want.
Now that's smart.
The Smart Sets, Advanced System 3 from Zenith, designed with Zenith computer technology. When you want everything smart.
Good look at some of the 75,000 plus here at Legion Field. One of the great stadiums in all of college football. Big play, 3rd and 3. Vince Sutton calling signals. See what he does. Paul Ott-Carruth going left side. Going to dump it out to him. It's overthrown, incomplete. Culpepper is there in the coverage. And that play was telegraphed from the snap.
That's true. He was looking to his left. He was fading to his left. He never took his eyes off Carruth. They're going to have to do something to diversify their passing game, stretch the defense vertically a little more, because they have a tendency to want to hit those flats too much.
Now the ball's on the 32-yard line. It's 4th and 3, 3:05 to go in the half, and Ray Perkins wants to go for it. With a 17-point deficit, he doesn't want to try for 3, a 3-point effort that wouldn't be all that. Oh, wow. Vince Sutton gets by. He's going to score. Touchdown, Alabama. Wow. 32 yards. Vince Sutton, the freshman from LaGrange, Georgia, on a 3rd and 3. All they wanted was the first down, or 4th and 3, excuse me. All they wanted was the first down, but they come up big, 32 yards and the score.
It looked like it might have been an improvision, but I think it was a called play. I think it was the quarterback draw by Vince Sutton, who does have good speed.
Extra point is good. Suddenly it's a 10-point game. Georgia 17, Alabama 7. And Cup, it looked to me as if there was some confusion, as if perhaps it was an improvised play. We'll have to check it out again,
But watch his drop. You see, that's planned. That's a quarterback draw.
Sure.
1, 2, and through the hole he goes. And once he gets here, because of the coverage, there's no one here in the middle of the field, and Vince Sutton, the freshman, goes in for the touchdown. This is the type of a play that can turn a game around. It can also turn a season around.
.32 yards for the score. And this place has come alive, believe me. 17-7. It's got to give Vince some confidence, too. That could affect his throwing as well the rest of the ball game, a play like that. He's quite an athlete. Terry Sanders will kick it off. We've got 2:58 to go in the first half. Andre Smith at the 1. Trying to turn it up. Gets up to the 18. And the Tide is fired up.
One big play like that can turn on an entire squad. The special teams will react to it, too.
The Alabama drive, 70 yards, 7 plays, just under 3 minutes. Key play, of course, Sutton's 32-yard run, the quarterback draw. Listen to this crowd. That's Andre Smith. Tide fans still on their feet.
Ray Perkins would like nothing more than to get the ball back in good field position and put another number up on the board. That could really change the momentum for the second half.
You know, Ray was asked this week about the prospects of a losing season. 1-3. What about this game? He said, did you ever see a mad dog backed into a corner? You don't want to. We're seeing a bit of that right now. Andre Smith hit and hit hard, knocked back by Cornelius Bennett, along with help from John Hand.
2 of the premier defensive players on the team, King and Hand, both sandwiching Smith that time.
Sets up a 3rd and 7. Under 2 minutes to go. Smith, by the way, 95 yards on the afternoon. Bama wants the ball back. Williams, pitch. That is Tate. Tate, left side, short of the first down by at least 3 yards. The Bama fans going a little bit crazy right now. 1:28 to go here in the first half. It was all Georgia up till a few moments ago. And now it's a 17-7 ball game, and prospects of Alabama getting the ball back in time for at least a field goal with 1:28 left. Timeout for Alabama. Going to talk things over. I have an idea they might be going to rush this punter a little bit here.
As I said a few moments ago, Ray Perkins would like nothing better than to put some more numbers up on the board right here before halftime, because it could change the entire complexion of the game in the second half. It's the type of a quarter that you can look back and say maybe the entire 1984 season turned around in the second quarter of the Georgia game.
And I think the fans here are thinking exactly the same thing. They know this football team has the talent. They know it's a good team. They've lost 3 ball games to 3 good football teams. They'd like a win today. Here they come, but Andrews gets it off. Richardson at his own 35-yard line puts the head down and barrels for 1 or 2 as he is smashed. John Brantley on the stop for Georgia. So with 1:19. Alabama, we'll see what they can do to get at least within field goal range. A couple of timeouts remain for Bama.
And Vince Sutton will go to his hurry-up offense. We know that he can run. We know that he can throw deep.
Vince Sutton, probably overall playing his finest football of the year. Looking, plenty of time. It's long. It is for Carruth. Incomplete. A great defensive play by Tony Flack. If that ball had made it to Carruth's arms, touchdown, Alabama. But a good play by Flack. It's 2nd and 10.
Carruth swinging deep out of the backfield that time, and Flack had covered toward the middle of the field, had to come back. A nice looping trajectory here by Sutton as he throws to Carruth along the sidelines. Look at the recovery by Tony Flack, the junior cornerback, number 8, as he comes over to bat the ball away along the sideline.
Tony Flack, the only freshman to start from game 1 for Vince Dooley. Paul Ott Carruth this time running with the football. Gets up to about the 43, maybe the 44-yard line. Clock ticking. Under a minute. Lining up in a hurry. It's 3rd and 5.
No huddle. Here we go. Automatic signals.
Timeout for Georgia, as a matter of fact.
That is a strange decision
Why
on
would
the part
they do
of
that?
Georgia. No reason whatsoever that I can, and Vince Dooley doesn't understand it either. So the defense calls timeout. That's what you hope for when you're on offense, is that maybe the defense will panic. Maybe they were so unsettled back there because of the no huddle that they decided to go with a timeout.
Vince Dooley, when asked, hey, what is the problem with Alabama, said, hey, I'll tell you what the problem with Alabama is. 3 exceptional schools in Boston College and Georgia Tech and Vanderbilt. All those schools were undefeated going into today's action.
I think that comeback by Boston College in the opener, which was nationally televised by ABC, certainly hurt them because they were moving the ball very effectively. And what Flutie did in the second half was miraculous.
Amazing. Great quarterback. A lot of folks think Vince Sutton will be a great quarterback. Vince Dooley says that Vince Sutton reminds him of Joe Namath.
Particularly because of the quick release.
And the quick feet. Good athlete. 8 of 14, as you can see.
And that 32-yard touchdown dash on 4th down.
All right, 3rd and 5. 53 seconds remain here in the first half. Sutton will fire it up. He's got a man incomplete. That was Clay Whitehurst. And once again, some good defense by Georgia. Tony Flack is there to knock Whitehurst around a little bit. So it sets up a 4th and 5.
Tony Flack really does a good job of shadowing his receiver. Probably the best on individual coverage that they have. Best and most consistent in terms of single coverage.
Started every game of his collegiate career. Alabama with little choice but to punt the ball away. That's Jimmy Harrell. Sanders gets it off. Harrell backpedaling to his left, grabs it at the 12, knocked out of bounds immediately. 46-yard punt with no return. 38 seconds to go here in the first half.
Don't expect anything too mysterious from the Bulldogs now. You got to figure that you're going to see the old quarterback fall down tonight, because I'm sure they'll be very happy to take a 17-7 lead into the locker room at halftime.
They will take it. Williams at quarterback, hands it off. This is Tate, who is upended at about the 15-yard line. Clock ticks down. Wayne Davis, the linebacker, makes the hit. And this will just about do it. One more play, and that'll be the first half. Alabama showing they are not out of it yet. Should go into the locker room with a good head of steam, a good confidence builder, coming up with that touchdown late here in the first half. We will not get another play off. 4 seconds, 3 seconds. And that will do it for the first half here at Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. Todd Williams and the Bulldogs head for the locker room. They got to feel pretty good about a 17-7 lead, but Lee Grosscup, Alabama at the same time, got to feel good about the way they came on late in the first half.
Particularly that 32-yard sprint to the end zone by Vince Sutton on 4th down and 3 yards to go. So the momentum may be changing here at halftime.
Alabama will get the ball back on the kick to open up the second half. The Georgia Bulldogs 17, Alabama Crimson Tide 7. We'll be back with today's halftime activities after this commercial message and a word from our local stations.
Welcome to Miller Time.
Miller Time begins here, where Miller High Life waits for the finest ingredients to reach their golden best. Then we go beyond ingredients and use the finest brewing skills, making sure Miller High Life contains no additives and no preservatives. So come your Miller time, you get nothing but the fresh, smooth taste of just pure beer. Welcome to Miller High Life.
Welcome to Miller Time.
Do you know the biggest craze at Sweeping America? It's bigger than breakdancing, more popular than Michael Jackson. It's the most exciting game show, Trivia Trap. Your chance to make the fast tracks with the facts if you can answer questions like these.
How many years did Sleeping Beauty sleep? On the TV series The Addams Family, what was the name of the butler?
You'll find out more than you ever knew you could know when you get caught in the Trivia Trap, hosted by Bob Eubanks, with prizes up to $50,000. Trivia Trap premiering this Monday at 11:10 Central and Pacific.
I'm working hard, giving all that I've got. I've got a bank working hard for me. A bank that knows the way to make all my hard work pay. I've got a bank that suits me to a T. Trust Company. I've got a bank that suits me to a T. Trust Company. I've got a bank that suits me to a T.
This Sharps has big beer taste.
Yeah, big.
Yeah, as big as that battling big mouth bass I bagged that fed fried fillets to 50 families.
That's big.
That's easy for a Sharps drinker to say, because Sharps has half the alcohol and all the taste of an especially great beer.
Sharps taste is big enough to satisfy this wild and woolly wily weekend walleye angler.
One more, Walt?
Why not, Will? Wanda?
What?
The great tasting beer that just happens to have half the alcohol. It's smart to say Sharps.
Terry Wood and Monica Kaufman on Action News.
The Prudential Halftime Report is being sponsored by Prudential. For life, health, auto, home, get a piece of the rock. Prudential Insurance.
The 56th meeting between the University of Georgia and the University of Alabama. Legion Field, Birmingham, Alabama. The Dogs lead the Tide right now at halftime by a score of 17-7. And on the field at the moment, entertaining this crowd is 75,000 plus. The University of Georgia Redcoat Marching Band, directed by Dwight Satterwhite. Let's listen in and enjoy. University of Georgia Redcoat Marching Band. You know, we've got a couple superb place kickers on display today. Georgia's Kevin Butler and Bama's Van Tiffin. Over at the University of West Virginia, a great story about a kicker there, and Jack Whitaker has the story.
A walk-on athlete who makes the first team at a big-time college football university is as rare as a picture of Walter Mondale campaigning with a suit coat on. They exist, however, but in numbers so small that you could invite them all over to your house for Sunday dinner. Here at the University of West Virginia, they have one such walk-on athlete you'd love to have at your house for Sunday dinner. Not only has he established 4 NCAA place-kicking records and been the center of the resurgence of the Mountaineers football program, but he has learned to live with a physical problem. His name is Paul Woodside. Paul came to the University of West Virginia with the intention of playing football, despite a physical problem that would have deterred most people. The first man he contacted was Donnie Young, the recruiting coordinator.
But one day in July, very close to our fall practice, Paul Woodside just walks into my office, and you know, he looks like anything but a football player. He's a very frail young man, as you already know. And the first thing he did to me was never said a word. He just handed me a card. And as you might know, Paul stutters, and at that time he stuttered rather badly. And the card was the stutterer's credo, which he handed to me. If you don't care enough about me to listen to me talk, then you weren't worth my time anyway. It took him about 25 minutes to explain to me that he was a kicker. And so we invited him to walk on in the fall, and it didn't take our coach long to see that he was potentially a great kicker.
Paul's accomplishments on the football field the last 3 years have not gone to his head. Instead, they have had a very positive effect on his life away from football.
I've learned over the years with the sports and everything, I don't know whether I'm hiding behind it, but I use it as one thing to stand on, because everybody is successful or wants to be known as successful up to a point. So if anybody like is harsh or mean or something against me, then I don't know, I'll use everything I have learned in sports and my experiences there, and it'll help me out in the situation. To head coach Don Nalen, he's my man Woody, and he appreciates Paul's fine sense of humor.
4 years ago, and Paul kicked, he set a Peach Bowl record. He kicked 4 field goals, and his last field goal, he told the referee, we're going to have to quit meeting like this out here. And the referee just laughed, and, I mean, that's the kind of guy he is. He's just a joyful little guy to be around.
That sense of humor, reflected by this Peanuts cartoon in his locker, has helped Paul get through those unpleasant times when people laughed at his speech impediment.
You can learn much more about yourself in a situation like that, which I think is one thing that's helped me to kick, and on like a Saturday not to get nervous or anything, is because I know myself, and I know how to handle myself if I get in a situation that might be tight or something.
The Paul Woodside story is uplifting at 2 different levels. First of all, as a walk-on who made it good, the underdog prevailing. But secondly, and more important for all of us, he has taken a physical problem and turned it into a positive philosophy. As Paul says, we all have stories to tell, but we need somebody to listen to them. This is Jack Whitaker at the University of West Virginia at Morgantown.
Great story. Paul Woodside at the University of West Virginia. Georgia leads it at halftime, 17-7. Back with more from Legion Field in Birmingham in just a moment.
A little girl was trapped. I had to save her. She made it. I didn't. I thought about my own little girl. Who'd protect her?
He's coming around. Stevie boy, you live to tell about it.
I got a second chance to protect my own as well as others.
At Prudential, we know most of us don't get a second chance. Talk to a Prudential agent and get the peace of mind that comes with a piece of the rock.
We're all safe now.
Get a piece of the rock.
Prudential Life Insurance.
Most people don't know what their auto insurance covers until it's too late.
Ask a Prudential agent for a Prue review.
Don't believe it.
I believe it.
Well, believe it or not, I don't think we're covered.
Not covered?
But we must be.
No.
But what if we're not?
Oh.
You had a Prue review. I did. I mean, I know my car would be covered.
Get a piece of the rock.
Get Prudential's Prue review. It's fast and free.
He sure needs a facelift.
For the CFA, Dr. Otis Singletary, president of the University of Kentucky.
The College Football Association, made up of 63 major football-playing institutions, was formed 8 years ago out of our recognized need to address common concerns and interests. We fully support improvements in academic standards as well as reforms in recruiting practices. And we will continue to work towards solving our mutual problems for the betterment of college football.
Brought to you by the College Football Association. Back at Legion Field, Birmingham, Alabama, I'm Corey McPherson, along with Lee Grosscup. And Lee, I tell you what a quick start for the University of Georgia. 2 touchdowns in the first few minutes of the first quarter sets the tone for the whole ball game. Alabama had to play catch-up from the very start.
You know, it looked initially like we might have a blowout on our hands. I was about to get into my blowout list, but, you know, it has turned into a very compelling and competitive first half. It's almost like it's been 2 different ball games because Georgia did indeed jump off to a 17-zip lead, and then with that big play by Vince Sutton, it suddenly becomes a good matchup.
Well, the man for Georgia in the first quarter, a man by the name of Andre Smith. We've got some highlights, and he started off like gangbusters.
Andre Popewood Smith, right over the right side, and look at this. Only one man touches him en route to a 44-yard touchdown. That was the fullback dive or fullback drive play, which is really kind of the definitive fullback play in the I formation.
That came at the 13:33 mark of the first quarter, and here he is again from the 34-yard line at 11:13 mark.
Take the same play and flip-flop it to the left side. What he does here that's a little different is he makes a good cut back to the inside, and again, because of the fact that Alabama is jamming the line of scrimmage, there's no one there in the secondary.
Kevin Butler hit a field goal from 34 yards out to make it 17-0 then. This 32-yard run by Vince Sutton.
This was a 4th and 3 situation, the biggest play of the game. It looked like an improvisation, but no. It's a call play. It's the quarterback draw play. Remember, like his predecessor, Walter Lewis, this is a young man who can run with the football. He has good speed, and he showed it to you right there.
So it is 17-7 here at halftime, and Lee, with a deficit like that of 10 points, will Alabama come out in the second half throwing the ball a little more in an effort to catch up in a hurry?
No, I think that with Ray Perkins' philosophy, you're going to see basically a balanced attack. I don't think it's any time to panic. He feels that the momentum has changed, that it's going his way, and he still likes that 2-to-1 ratio in terms of runs to passes.
Now, how about Georgia? Conversely, will they play a little more cautiously than normal because of that lead?
No, I think that the game plan that they had initially is going to be good for them right throughout the football game. Remember, as we said at the very top, Vince Dooley believes very strongly in the concept of I-formation football. And not only does he have 3 tailbacks who can run the football, but he has a hot fullback today, too.
Yes, he does. And Andre Smith going to hit 100 yards before we're done today. Corey McPherson, Lee Grosscup, and Lynn Swan at Legion Field in Birmingham. Back with the second half in just a moment.
The last thing I heard was the siren. I wouldn't make it. I'd never see my wife, the baby on the way. Who take care of them?
That was a close one.
Yeah, we made it.
I got a second chance to make sure both my loved ones are cared for.
At Prudential, we know most of us don't get a second chance. Talk to a Prudential agent and get the peace of mind that comes with a piece of the rock.
I'm here.
Get a piece of the rock.
Prudential Life Insurance.
I left the iron plugged in.
You're a beauty.
Well,
you say that every year.
No, it's
no,
right there.
what's this? Hey.
That's the old iron.
No, the old iron.
Finding out what your homeowner's insurance covers after an accident is too late. Get a Prue review and let a Prudential agent review your coverage.
We're insured.
My jewelry?
It's covered, I think. Maybe it's not.
Be sure of what you're insured for. Get a Prue review.
My new iron.
Get a piece of the rock.
Get Prudential's Prue review. It's fast and free.
college football, the All-American game.
Tim Lampley along with Beano Cook once again in New York. Let's get you up to date on everything that is happening in games being played right now. A major upset brewing in West Lafayette, Indiana, where Purdue's Boilermakers lead Ohio State 28-17. Less than 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and Purdue has just held Ohio State at the 6-yard line to preserve the 11-yard margin. Again, the passing of Jim Everett is a big factor for the Boilermakers, as it was in their early season upset over Notre Dame. No upsets where Brigham Young is concerned. They beat Colorado State 52-9. Robbie Bosco, 16 of 21, 240 yards, 3 TDs. He added 1 rushing. Nebraska is leading, or is trailing, Oklahoma State 3-0 at halftime. The Cornhuskers, in their last 4 quarters of play, have gotten 1 safety, 2 points. Army beat Harvard 33-11 today, as the Cadets remain unbeaten on the season at 3-0-1. Pittsburgh won for the first time 17-10 over East Carolina. North Carolina State got a strong performance from Joe McIntosh and picked up 4 Georgia Tech turnovers, a team that had only turned it over twice before this year coming into the game. State won it 27-22. Penn State survived a 2-point conversion try by Maryland with 1:45 to go and beat the Terrapins for the 16th straight time under Joe Paterno, the 26th time in 27 games overall. 25-24. Maryland outgained them but lost. North Carolina lost to Clemson 20-12. For the Tigers, the 22nd straight win in Death Valley. Wake Forest beat Richmond today 29-16. Florida beat Syracuse 16-0. Syracuse, which pushed Nebraska all over the field a week ago, got less than 50 yards in the more than 100-degree heat on the field in Gainesville. Less than 50 yards rushing, I should say. Auburn beat Ole Miss 17-13. Valiant try for Ole Miss, but their first loss in the last 10 regular season games under Dog Brewer. Mississippi State getting a great performance from quarterback Don Smith. Beat Southern Mississippi 27-18. Virginia Tech, 2 running backs over 100 yards. Beat VMI 54-7. Michigan State has upset Michigan, as you know already, 19-7 today. Michigan lost quarterback Jim Harbaugh to injury. Another great win for George Perlis and the Spartans after a pregame pep talk from Kirk Gibson. Wisconsin and Illinois, it's 3-0 Illini in first quarter. Iowa is beating Northwestern 31-3. Now it's a final. Kansas State fell to South Carolina 49-17. The surprising Gamecocks remain unbeaten on the season. They blocked 2 punts in the second half. Missouri beat Colorado 52-7. Things always happen for Missouri when Marlon Adler becomes a starting quarterback. He rushed for 151 yards today. Iowa State against Kansas. The Jayhawks lead 33-7 in the fourth. Texas Tech beat Texas A&M, exposing the nation's weakest 3-0 team coming into the game. First loss this season for Jackie Sherrill, and a victory for Texas Tech. TCU and Arkansas. Wacker's team is trailing 24-17 to Ken Hatfield's Arkansas Razorbacks in the fourth quarter. Navy got the early jump on Air Force with a kickoff return. Now they trail 21-13 in the third quarter. SC, which hadn't scored a touchdown in 2 games, has got a couple of them today and leads Washington State 20-0 in the third quarter. We remind you that at 8 o'clock Eastern time tonight, you'll see the 4th game of the National League playoff between the Padres and the Cubs, as the Cubs try to close it out and the Padres try to keep their chances alive. Very quickly, let's talk to Beano Cook about a subject which is hot on his mind. The subject, 1956 Heisman Trophy winner Paul Hornung, whom we remember as a halfback with the Green Bay Packers, but who was a quarterback at Notre Dame when he won the Heisman Trophy. And Beano, no election yet to college football's Hall of Fame.
And I can't understand it. He was a starter for 2 years. He won the Heisman Trophy. He should be in the Hall of Fame. Players who played after him have been inducted in the Hall of Fame. And I can't understand it. The obvious reasons are his Playboy image. Nuts. That's a bunch of bull. He should be in the Hall of Fame. And number 2 is that he was suspended in pro football for 1 year, and he took it like a man. People would come up to Paul Hornung and say, hey, Pete Rozelle should never have done it. And Hornung would say, wait a second. Rozelle was right. I was wrong. He's a heck of a guy. He was a heck of a player. He won the Heisman Trophy, and he should get in the Hall of Fame.
Well, it took him a long time to enshrine the great Frank Leahy. Let's hope they do the same thing with Paul Hornung. All right, Beano and I will be here through the rest of the day. And after this, we'll be going back to Corey McFerrin in Legion Field.
The Prudential Halftime Report has been sponsored by Prudential. For life, health, auto, home, get a piece of the rock. Prudential Insurance.
This ABC Sports Exclusive is being brought to you by Mr. Goodrich and General Motors Parts, by Sharp Electronic Corporation. From Sharp Minds comes Sharp Products, by Chevrolet, who invites you to see today's Chevy. Drive today's Chevy, live today's Chevy. by Tums, the sodium-free antacid, and by Sears, where you'll find great values, great service, and a great selection. You'll find the things that make life worthwhile, because there's more for your life at Sears. Legion Field, Birmingham, Alabama. The Georgia Bulldogs hold a 17-7 lead, but Alabama is coming on. Back with the second half in just a moment.
Sodium can turn up where you least expect it, even in your antacid tablet. Looking for an antacid without sodium? Tums is virtually sodium-free, and it also neutralizes 1/3 more stomach acid than the other leading brand. Tums lets you do without the heartburn and without all that sodium. And for liquid strength in a tablet, Tums EX.
The insulation is ready, and the time is now. It's all up to you to beat those high home heating and air conditioning costs. So get rolling. Add an extra layer of Owens Corning Pink Attic blanket insulation and score energy savings. If you act now, you'll get a free warm-up jacket with the emblem of your favorite NFL team. A great offer, only from Owens Corning.
Today's cars do things yesterday's cars didn't.
Please fasten seatbelt.
Their smaller, higher revving engines begin to break down an oil's viscosity within 1,500 miles. The tests show Castrol suffers no significant loss of viscosity even after 5,000 miles. So listen to your car.
Exceeding recommended RPM.
It may be telling you something. Castrol, engineered for smaller cars.
Corey McFerrin, Lee Groskop, and Lynn Swan here at Legion Field. Second half about to begin. Kevin Butler kicks it off. Chester Braggs in the end zone. Take over at the 30-yard line. Georgia's defensive setup. You saw Calvin Ruff, Donald Chumley, defensive tackle. Henry Harris, he's a good one out of Decatur, Georgia. Jake Richardson starting today. And Carlisle Hewitt, big defensive end out of Snellville, Georgia. Sutton keeping, running, look at him go. Pitches it off, ball Caruth, oh my. Had he held on to that football, Cumper, he might have had a big gainer. As it is, a 17-yard run for Vince Sutton. Knox Culpepper, the big linebacker for Georgia. Bill Mitchell, also a linebacker. You got Tony Flack, the cornerback. Kevin Harris, a senior. John Little at Roverback. Completing that secondary, Jeff Sanchez out of Yorba Linda, California. Paul Ott Caruth up across the 40-yard line. Second and 5, and Mike Shula waiting on the sidelines. Hoping to get a chance to play today, but Vince Sutton is the man in the ball game. Second and 5. As Richardson in motion, the pitch is to Caruth. Pitch by one man across midfield. Look out. 35-30. Can Sanchez catch him? Yes, at the 2-yard line. The ball is fumbled. Is it down or is it Georgia's? The ball belongs to Alabama at the 2-yard line. Jeff Sanchez, a touchdown-saving tackle. However, Alabama 2 yards away from making this a 3-point ball game.
It's the blocking by Ricky Moore, number 26, that springs Paul Ott Caruth, number 16. And now it's a foot race. Jeff Sanchez, the safety man, catching him right here. Big play for the Tide.
Chester Braggs looked like he had trouble hanging on the football. He has stopped cold. Alabama coming out strong here in the second half as we anticipated.
We were having some audio problems there momentarily. I hope I translated the enthusiasm that is shared here in the stadium as Alabama starts to move. We felt that this would be a key drive for them, how they came out in the second half, because the momentum began to change for the Tide late in the second quarter of the football game.
Bama going to try to punch it across. 2nd and 2. Sutton going to keep. Is he going to score? Yes. Vince Sutton scores his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon, a keeper from 2 yards out. Let's see it again.
When you have a quarterback with the athletic ability of Vince Sutton, the option play can be very effective inside the 5-yard line because he has a read on the corner. That time he took it all the way to the corner where Tony Flack was the only man between him and the goal line, and he simply ran over Flack. Remember, he's 6'2" and 190 pounds.
Chiffin's extra point attempt is good. It's a 17-14 ball game. Georgia had gone out to a 17-0 lead, but Bama is back, and the crowd is fired up.
This is today's Chevrolet.
Come on in, take the wheel, start it up, get the feel of the road that rolls on. Straight ahead, on your own, the light turns green and you're gone on the road that rolls on. The road rolls on. You're today's Chevy, be today's Chevy, drive today's Chevy, live today's Chevy.
Live it.
Chevy.
You want to win, you got to practice stopping Sarinsky. Murphy, you're Sarinsky. Your dog meat, Sarinsky.
You guys getting the hang of this?
Bring out your best.
Your
best deserves the best.
Bud Light.
The less filling light beer with a first name in taste.
Sarinsky's got some moves, huh?
Bud Light.
Got ourselves a football game here at Legion Field in Birmingham. You know, Alabama won the toss to begin the game, elected to kick, and they received the second half kick and utilized it, that momentum, and now they're within 3 points as they score on their first possession. 13:08 to go, third quarter, a 17-14 ball game. Here is the kick. Going to be taken at 2 yards deep in the end zone. 15-yard line. Andre Smith is smothered and knocked back to about the 13. A 17-yard return for Andre Smith. Good look at Alabama's defensive front. There's the big guy, John Hand, Kurt Jarvis, the nose guard, Brett Soule out of Clearwater, Florida, the defensive tackle, and Cornelius Bennett, the hitman at linebacker. Emmanuel King, another outstanding linebacker, senior. Scott McRae out of Huntsville. Randy Rockwell. Some big league ball players. Todd Williams, the give to Andre Smith. That's the man, Cornelius Bennett.
Cornelius Bennett, who some think is the premier sophomore linebacker in the country.
That's right. Freddie Robinson you saw. Vernon Wilkinson. Look at the secondary for Alabama. Paul Tripley, the leader out there from Liverpool, New York. And the fourth man, Britton Cooper. That's a great name for a football player. Out of Mobile, Alabama. I like that name. 12.5 to go, third quarter, 17-14. Georgia, 2nd and 10. The pitch back, Lars Tate. Defense for Bama is fired up. Tate throwing for a loss. Emmanuel King gets the tackle.
Prior to the season, Ray Perkins felt that he had as good a defensive front seven as there was in America.
Well, they're showing some stuff right now. Look at Georgia's offensive line, a very inexperienced offensive line. In fact, Peter Anderson, the center, the only man with any significant playing experience coming into the season. 3rd and 11, big play for Georgia. Fred Lane in motion. Todd Williams looks like he wants to fire. Hits Lane, drops the football. That's an incomplete pass. And Georgia will have to punt it away. And the fans love it. You know, Cup, you talk about momentum and shifting of momentum. We are seeing it before our very eyes.
It began to shift late in the second quarter. And with that great drive by Alabama featuring the weak side pitch play to Paul Ott Caruth, they are now back only 3 points behind Georgia. And initially, it looked like we were going to have a blowout when it was 17-zip.
Andrews to punt. Richardson to receive at the 45. Good tackle out there. Kenny Driscoll. Special teams makes the hit. Alabama back on offense. Legion Field going a little crazy.
Nearly 4 hours. That's how long it took us to paint this room with a roller. Then we painted it in less than 1 hour with the new Wagner Power Roller. A living room that took nearly 7 hours. The Wagner Power Roller finished in less than 3. The Power Roller pumps paint straight from the can to the roller or to any of several optional accessories. Why waste your time painting a pan when you could be painting your walls instead? The Wagner Power Roller, the right tool for painting.
The enemy. Rain. A mere 1/8 inch can float your car off the road. Thus the rationale for Vector, Goodyear's unique all-season radio. So advanced, its crisscross tread actually pumps away water to help more tire and your car stay on the road. The Goodyear Vector. It simply performs like no other tire in the world.
In Game 3 of the National League Championship Series, the Padres had Chicago climbing the wall. A 3-run blast from Kevin McReynolds helped bust the Cubs 7-1. San Diego can tie it up tonight at 8 Eastern.
Good shot of downtown Birmingham, Alabama. Construction going on down there. You pull back and see legendary Legion Field, 75,000 plus, and they are fired up, at least most of them. Ricky Moore up the middle, driving over midfield. Alabama starting off with the best field position they have had all afternoon.
Ricky Moore, who many pro scouts feel has the potential to be a high-round draft pick in the pros, takes the straight handoff over the left side, veers back to his right. You see some of the leg drive as he literally carries 4 tacklers there into the secondary.
2nd and 3. Moore again. Penalty flag is dropped. Moore has the first down. Might be some movement in the backfield. I think we heard it. Illegal motion is the call.
We're going to go back here with a 2nd down back this way, boys.
I think Ricky got a little head start that time.
Illegal motion. Offense. 2nd down.
Ray Perkins says that Ricky Moore is the best fullback he's ever been around.
That's saying a lot.
It is saying a lot.
He's coached for 3 different professional teams, too. Don't forget that.
2nd and 8. That's Richardson in motion. Draw play to Moore, looking for a hole to cut through. Can't find one. Donald Chumley is there to tackle him. And about the 47-yard line. There's the man they like to call Perk. 3 years head coach with the New York Giants before that. Assistant jobs at San Diego, New England. Started off his coaching career at Mississippi State.
This is a key 3rd down situation right now.
3rd and 7 yards to go. Sutton will throw. Looking over the middle, looking for Carruth, overthrown. Sanchez was there. The ball not even close to Paul Ott Carruth. The kid's got a rifle, but it isn't quite under control yet.
Got to lower the sights on that rifle. Remember, he is a freshman. That's when you like to have a Ken Stabler at quarterback. 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7. You just know he's going to find a way to pick up that yardage.
Oh, I'd take him. I would take him. Vince Sutton will be a good one, though. 30 touchdown passes his senior year in high school. You hear that?
Yep.
Terry Sanders to punt it away. Jimmy Harrell calls for the fair catch at about the 17-yard line. So Georgia will get a crack again on offense. The Bama crowd, though, is still fired up. Let's now check in with Lynn Swann on the sideline.
Corey, Lee, what Alabama's been lacking in the 4 previous ball games was the big play. They got it when Vince scored the touchdown at the end of the second quarter, and then Paul Kruth-Ott comes back with a big play to set up another Vince touchdown. The defensive line, instead of standing up and reading now, they're coming out much more aggressively, and the attitude and enthusiasm has now fallen over to the Alabama side.
Thank you, Lynn. That was Lars Tate, hit hard by Cornelius Bennett and Emmanuel King.
Our colleague Lynn Swann knows wherein he speaks. He knows about attitude and enthusiasm. He played for a national championship team with USC in 1972, and of course later with the Pittsburgh Steelers, where he collected Super Bowl rings.
I got a feeling old Lynn could probably still suit up and play a pretty good game if he had to. 2nd and 9. Williams will keep. Dives across to about the 22, and Georgia is struggling on offense. One thing they have not shown today is a passing attack of any kind, averaging coming into the ball game about 112 yards through the air. But today, zip.
One of many interesting stats on Vince Dooley: 6 SEC championships, a national championship in 1980, National Coach of the Year, and 7 times SEC Coach of the Year.
Grew up in Mobile, Alabama. 3rd and 6. Williams rolling. Williams throwing. Complete pass to Herman Archie. First down, Georgia, 38-yard line. And just like clockwork, after I tell the folks about how poor their passing attack has been, he completes the pass to Herman Archie. We're 17 yards.
That's a sure way to get a completion. And that is what Todd Williams does best. We talked earlier about how he is most effective on sprint-out passes when he can get to the corner, take advantage of the fact that he is not very tall. He does have a tall receiver in Herman Archie, though, right there.
Lars Tate, a loss on the play, tackled at about the 33-yard line. Williams on the day with that pass gives him 3 of 5 for a total of 13 yards.
Prior to that completion, he had minus yardage on the day.
So I was being kind when I said they had zip for passing yards, -4. Williams, handoff, Tate, got some room right side, but very quickly that hole is closed up. And Georgia will find a 3rd and 13 situation facing them. You see the clock, 7:45 to go here in the 3rd. 3-point ball game.
3rd and 13, you've got to figure that you're going to see some type of sprint out pass again. And his favorite routes, he told me yesterday, are the deep curl in and the deep sideline cut.
Todd Williams fakes the handoff. He's going over the middle. It is intercepted by Alabama at midfield. That is Paul Tripoli. Intended for Herman Archie. Tripoli, the senior out of Liverpool, New York. And the momentum continues to shift to the Tide. They got the football at midfield. Todd Williams not very happy about that ball.
The tide has turned.
Probably the first time that's ever been said in an Alabama game, huh?
I think so. I sat up all night working on my cliches and puns.
There goes Vince. That ball knocked down, just about picked off by Kenny Sims. Knocks it down.
Another look at that last big interception. It was a fake draw there. Herman Archie is the intended target. And Paul Tripoli, who has emerged as the ringleader of the secondary for the Crimson Tide, number 23, steps in front to intercept.
2nd and 10. Alabama's defensive crew getting prepared for the next time they head out in the field. This is Vince looking at incomplete. In fact, intercepted. Jeff Sanchez out the tip ball, tackled hard at the 44-yard line. It was tipped by Knox Culpepper. Jeff Sanchez comes up with the football. And a big break for Georgia, coming up with a big play. That ball intended for Greg Richardson.
The ball is intended for Richardson here as Vince Sutton on a straight drop back pass here. Watch the drop by Knox Culpepper, number 48. There's the tip right there. And it's Tony Flack, number 8, who comes up with the interception.
Flack with a tip, Sanchez with the interception. Yeah. This is Lars Tate up to the 45, and a couple interceptions back-to-back here by Williams and then by Sutton. Sutton threw 6 consecutive incomplete passes. Paul Tripoli there makes the stop.
So we have 2 safety men coming up with interception. We have Tripoli on one side and Sanchez on the other. Off of the tip by Flack, not Culpepper.
We got it straight now?
I think we've got it. By George, I've got it.
2nd and 8. Todd, confused, tosses it. Almost picked off again. Looking for Scott Williams as a last-ditch attempt.
Good pressure on Todd Williams, who, interestingly enough, Corey, is prematurely gray. He's still a kid, but he's already got gray hair.
I think Todd may be fully gray by the time he's 25. In games like this, I would assume would add a few gray hairs.
That's why quarterbacks change. Yeah.
You seen Kenny Stabler lately?
Yep.
6.5 minutes to go. 3rd and 8. Georgia leads by 3. 42-yard line. Williams will throw. Big pressure again. John Hand, the sack. Vince Dooley said before this game, John Hand is the best tackle we've faced all year.
And many pro scouts are projecting him as a future #1 pick in either the National Football League or the United States Football League. He has the size you like, 6'7", 270 pounds, good lateral movement, and exceptional upper body strength.
8-yard loss sets up a 4th and 15. Andrews the punt. Richardson at the 23. Goes right. Puts a move. Got some room up the sidelines. Knocked out at about the 44-yard line. So Richardson fires him up. Alabama with good field position. They trail by 3 points.
Well, moms and dads the world around give their kids the same old sound. Got to go to school, be a big success. They wouldn't settle for anything less. Now they've learned whatever you seek, you'll help yourself to reach your peak in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Need a trade? Looking for a skill? They have hundreds to fit the bill in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Want more school? Don't have the bread. They'll help pay to get you ahead. Talking Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Mom and dad, they'll want to shout. He's made it big. There's no doubt. Thanks, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. It's a great place to start.
Nothing works like a Chevy truck. Nothing works like a Chevy truck. Tough on the job, easy on the block. Nothing works like a Chevy truck. So bring out the sun. Bring on the fun.
Bring on the fun.
You got the good.
You got the good.
Get out and run.
If you want a truck that works and plays as hard as you do, you want a Chevy.
Nothing works like a Chevy truck. Nothing works like a Chevy truck.
Jim Lampley again in New York. It is final in West Lafayette, Indiana, where Purdue has its 2nd major upset of the season, upending 2nd-ranked Ohio State. The ultimate game-winning play, a 55-yard interception return by Rod Woodson. Ohio State scored again and threatened twice more, but couldn't get the touchdown that would have won it. Purdue, the winner over Ohio State. Back to Corey McFerrin.
Thanks, Jim. Just saw Vince Sutton, quarterback keeper, gain of about 3, so they are inside Georgia territory. 5:25 to go. It'll be 2nd and 7. And Cupper, one thing we should mention is the outstanding tailback, Harry Good, who was knocked out of action the very first game of the year in that Boston College game. Really hurt this offense.
That is a loss that will be deeply felt for the Tide all season long.
Paul Otkaruk trying to stretch it up to the 45-yard line. In fact, there's Mike Shula, number 11.
Son of Don Shula, grew up in the Miami Dolphins training camp, admired Bob Greasy, and was playing pitch and catch with those great Dolphin receivers from the time he was a little boy.
In fact, his brother was Jeff Kemp's wide receiver up at Dartmouth.
I covered them.
Good ball player. This is Sutton on 3rd and 5. Firing. It is caught. Incredible catch. Preston Gothard but it's incomplete. We thought he had it from here. Limping off the field, a great effort. Let's watch it again. Knox Culpepper, isolation.
Knox Culpepper is the man who is covering Gothard to the outside from his linebacker position. It appears right here that Gothard has made a great catch. But you see there that it's a good call by the official, and the officials are usually right.
And Cupper, that's why we have instant replays.
Yep.
Almost a great catch. Doesn't work. 4th and 5. Sanders, no, they're going to give it to Don Horsted. It worked for Scott Williams and Georgia in the first half. It has just worked for Alabama. First down on the gadget play. Bama is in business at the 40-yard line of Georgia.
Gadget plays paying off for both teams. Don Horsted right there, number 39, on the fake kick on 4th down. Goes off the right side, exactly the same place that Georgia ran it earlier in the ballgame.
So it's 1st and 10. Bama's offense back on the field, 40-yard line. Huge play for Alabama. Sutton, the sideline, is going to be picked off. Yes, John Little covering Paul Otkaru, and just as quickly as Bama comes up with the big play, Georgia comes up with their big play, and the ball returns to the Dogs offense.
That is the 3rd interception of the day of Vince Sutton passes, and you wonder now if we might see Shula in the ballgame. We were just talking about him. He's trying to throw up the sideline, looping trajectory here. The ball aimed for his wide receiver, John Little. No, it's Paul Otkaru. He's covered by the safety man, John Little.
Nice catch, Jimmy Hockaday, 22-yard line for Georgia. Sutton suddenly going cold. Last 8 throws, all incompletions or interceptions.
And 2 of those have been intercepted. 3 on the day.
2nd and 3 for Georgia.
He's upset with himself. You can see it right there.
Andre Smith plowing across, and the fact that he is upset with himself and maybe a little bit into it emotionally right now might be reason enough for Ray Perkins to go with a guy like Shula, who might not have that kind of attachment emotionally to what's been happening on the field.
He may bring Shula in at least for a series or 2 to give Sutton a chance to settle down. Shula is more of a good short to intermediate range passer. Sutton has a little stronger arm, is a little faster.
They are checking now for the first down. Georgia's first down of the second half.
So for the first 11 minutes or so of this 3rd quarter, Alabama has pretty much been in charge.
I think Georgia knows they have to go at this offense a little more aggressively than they have here in the second half. That is Cleveland Gary. Couple yards, if that. Three minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. The Bulldogs with a 17-14 lead. They had a 17-0 lead late in the first half.
Sure, Vince Dooley would like to reestablish that strong inside running game that he had in the 1st quarter.
Williams, option. He keeps it up to the 34-yard line. These 2 teams haven't played since 1977. That year, Alabama beat Georgia by a score of 18-10.
Todd Williams is listed as a 6-footer in the press guide, but truthfully, he's about 5'10 and a half, 5'11. He's a resourceful runner and a good short intermediate range passer.
That run by Williams sets up a 3rd and 1. The give is to Cleveland. Gary, he makes it. And then some.
So the inside running game that I spoke of moments ago may be reestablished here by the Bulldogs. Going right over the center and guards is where they have been most effective. Smith got both his touchdowns that way, if you joined us late.
Cleveland Gary, 8 carries for 33 yards so far today. Got a flag thrown. Illegal motion, Georgia. There's Todd Williams. Vince Dooley says, we know Todd will never be a great quarterback. Doesn't have the big arm, doesn't have the great speed.
False start. Offense. Still first down.
What he can do is lead a football team. He has poise. He's got a good mind, a good head. And he can move a football team down the field. That's exactly what he's trying to do here. Williams rolling. This is where he's very effective. He fires. Almost picked off. Ricky Thomas out there. Good defensive play. He's fired up about it. That ball intended for Herman Archie.
Herman Archie on the sideline cut, and Ricky Thomas, 34, the safety man, cutting right in front there. And he picked that ball off. There was a lot of running room.
All right. 2nd and 15. Williams, the pitch to Gary. Looking for some room. Bangs his way across the 35 to 37-yard line. Cornelius Bennett and Ricky Thomas make the team tackle. Here's a good shot for you. Shula on the sidelines, consoling Mr. Sutton.
You see how they're very similar in size. They're both listed at 6'2", 190.
And does the fact he has a football in his hand hold any significance?
Not necessarily.
3rd and 13 for Georgia. This place is alive, I'll tell you. Minute to go, 3rd quarter, Georgia 3-point lead. Williams got some time, throws it, caught by Hockaday at the 47-yard line, but I believe he is short by a couple yards. We'll have to wait and see where they place it. 11-yard gain.
Motion right here by number 85. That's Jimmy Hockaday. Comes straight down. Outcut, covered by Freddie Robinson, number 21. The ball was thrown perfectly because it was low and outside, and he brought him back. That's safe.
All right, we got some drama. 4th and 2. Less than 30 seconds to go. 3rd quarter. Georgia's going for it. David McCluskey in at fullback. Excuse me, McCluskey in motion with Lars Tate or Cleveland Gary in the backfield. He is taken for a loss. Ricky Thomas comes out of the defensive backfield to make the stop on Cleveland Gary.
I have to wonder about that call by Georgia on 4th down and 2 yards to go. When you're leading in the ballgame 17-14, it's very uncharacteristic of Vince Dooley football, who you think of as being a man who is essentially conservative and very much a believer in fundamentals, field position, the running game, and so on.
Bama takes over inside the Georgia 45. Sutton is at quarterback. Ricky Moore tries the left side. So Ray Perkins sticking with the freshman as the 3rd quarter comes to a close. Legion Field is alive. We've got a quarter of football remaining. Georgia leads by 3. CFA college football. The Georgia Bulldogs versus the Alabama Crimson Tide will continue after this commercial message and a word from our local station. Stay with us.
I like small cars.
We need more room.
Today, Chevrolet has a car for you, the midsize Celebrity.
Feel the room. Ride in style. Go in comfort every mile.
Enjoy midsize room with economy and a price that's surprisingly small. Celebrity.
Lots of stuff here. If this is today's Chevrolet, I like it.
And we need it.
Drive today, Chevy. Live today, Chevy.
Live it.
Chevy.
Selling today, it's tough.
Just one sales call can cost $200. So before your people go out, make sure it's a hot lead. AT&T can help. Our people can show your people how to use AT&T Watts and AT&T 800 service. So chances are, when they make a call, they'll make a sale.
Been expecting it.
The people of AT&T Communications. We're thinking about your business in ways you never thought of.
Tomorrow, the secrets of card cheaters and how Vegas deals with them, believe it or not.
I knew my husband had a problem with drinking, but he didn't, and I didn't know how to help him. Then I heard about a program at Charter Peachford Hospital. It's called Intervention. The program teaches family members how to help the alcoholic help himself, and it worked for us. If someone in your family has a problem with drugs or alcohol, you can do something about it. Call Peachford and ask about Intervention. If you don't get help at Peachford, get help somewhere.
Announcing a grand opening sale you won't want to miss. It's the grand opening of Kelly & Cohen's new Cumberland Festival store, and all stores are celebrating with complete water beds as low as $128, complete bedroom suites as low as $8.99, brass beds, iron beds, trundle beds, beautiful bedroom furniture, sheets, pillows, comforters, and more. All as much as 60% off. 12 months free financing available. See Saturday and Sunday's Journal-Constitution for details, and then you'll know why. Everyone's going to Kelly & Cohen.
Vince Dooley talks about the Alabama game.
The four fingers raised above the head. Henry Williams, defensive tackle for Georgia, says the fourth quarter belongs to the Dogs. We will see Alabama on offense. Sutton at quarterback. Ricky Moore at opening. 40, 35-yard line.
Fourth quarter football has something of a tradition at Georgia. How many times can you think back to where the Dogs came from behind and in such thrilling fashion to win so many big games? Of course, likewise for Alabama. So something's got to give.
The Clemson game is a perfect example 2 weeks ago. The last-second field goal by Butler from 60 yards out won that game for the Dogs. Right now, 3rd and 1. There's movement on the right side. You saw it. Willard Schism. Things are heating up here at Legion Field right now, though. Let's check in with Jim Lampley. Jim?
Corey, Illinois is trying to bounce back from last week's loss to Iowa, and one thing which may help him do it is the presence of this man, David Williams, one of the 2 hottest pass receivers in the nation. This 44-yard run with a pass from Trudeau was the only touchdown of the first half as the Illini have a 13-3 lead over Wisconsin. Back to Corey.
Thank you, Jim. Hey, you talk about a big game. Wow. Alabama, the record, 1 win, 3 losses next week. The prospect of playing Penn State, then Tennessee. They got LSU and Auburn on this schedule. They need a win today. Sutton, look out, fires, low, incomplete. That ball was intended for the fullback, Ricky Moore. Sutton continues to show some inconsistencies, but I believe Moore fell down on this route.
Ricky Moore, number 26, coming out of the backfield. He trips right there. He tries to get up. Sutton kind of hesitates momentarily, throws the ball out there, and it's not well thrown. Sutton cold in the second half. He's now 7 of 20 for 49 yards. He's been intercepted 3 times. However, he has scored 2 touchdowns.
4th and 6. The punt. Harrell is back. They're going to let it roll in the end zone, they hope, but I believe Alabama has downed it. Inside the 5 they have at about the 3-yard line. Big play by the Crimson Tide.
So the work of special teams and defense continuing to be effective for the Tide.
Kamikaze man for the Tide. Bill Pierce, the man who downs that ball on the 3. Back with more in a moment.
Last year, Sears tuned up 1 million engines, performed more than 1 million brake repairs, installed over 3 million shocks, sold upwards of 9 million tires, and replaced more batteries than anyone else in America. At Sears, we install confidence. And best of all, we do it right next door to all this.
There's more for your life, more for your life at Sears.
When you have an insurance claim, that's the moment of truth.
You want results as quickly as possible.
You don't want to call a stranger with a claim, and with State Farm you don't. You call your agent.
And State Farm claims people are there when you need them to make sure everything's handled fast and fair.
What makes State Farm Claim Service work so well is an agent who's available when you need help.
And people who follow through with your claim.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Back at Legion Field, 13:54 to go in the ball game. Georgia continues to hang on to a three-point lead, but they're deep in their own territory, pinned down at the 3-yard line. Williams keeps across the 5, gets up maybe to the 6.
Conversely, Alabama has started their last 4 possessions at the 44, the 50, the 49, and the 44, but have scored no points. Well, that's what drives coaches like Ray Perkins crazy, because he believes so much in the concept of fundamentals.
Some of the folks around Tuscaloosa calling Alabama's offensive unit the Groundhogs because they burrow themselves into a hole when they get close to scoring so far this year. That was Lars Tate.
Groundhogs, huh?
Groundhogs, right. You know how they're like, right? Dig a lot, the hole. We've seen a bit of that today. Lars Tate, the freshman from Indianapolis, brings the ball out to the 12-yard line, sets up a key 3rd and 1 situation. He dives, and I don't know. Lars Tate goes up. Cornelius Bennett meets him in midair. It's very close. We'll have to see where they spot it.
That's quite a confrontation between a great sophomore linebacker and a potentially outstanding freshman tailback. Let's see who wins. Lars Tate coming from the tailback, reverse pivot by the quarterback. He does his Herschel Walker impersonation right there, and look who stands him up perfectly. In great position is number 97, Cornelius Bennett, the linebacker.
Let's check it out.
Score 1 for Bennett.
Bennett 1, Tate 0. They miss it by about 7-8 inches.
You can see why pro scouts have that man in their future book. Cornelius Bennett, number 97, will probably rewrite the press guide for career tackles and big plays by the time he graduates.
Minutes, 28 seconds to go. Georgia will punt it away. That's Chip Andrews at the goal line. Gets off a beautiful kick. Way back at the 35-yard line is Greg Richardson. The coverage is excellent. McCluskey is down there. David McCluskey, the number 1 special teams man for Georgia. A tremendous punt. 53 yards. Alabama on offense when we come back.
Sharp introduces a revolutionary change for the copy center. The compact, affordable Sharp SF900. It has 3 different reduction modes and an enlargement mode. It does the fast 40 copies per minute and has an optional sorter and automatic document feeder. In short, it does all the work of a copy center without taking up all the room.
The compact, affordable Sharp SF900. From Sharp Minds come Sharp products.
This is Mr. Goodrich, and did you know there are ways you can tell if your GM car's shock absorbers are okay? For one, check your tires. If they show unusual wear, like cupping at one spot, it can mean worn shocks. Make your car hard to handle. So see Mr. Goodrich. I have the right equipment, training, and genuine GM Blue Line replacement shocks available. They have a lifetime limited warranty.
It's another of Mr. Goodrich's good ways.
To keep that great GM feeling with genuine GM parts.
There's a man who knows what winning is all about. Played for the Bear right here at 64 and 65 for Alabama, the national championship teams. An All-American in 66. And then quite a professional career with the Colts. Played in 2 Super Bowls, one of which the Colts won. He wants to bring a national championship back to the University of Alabama. Their last title came in 1979. Look at this, Tuck.
Some indication of the play selection there with Georgia and Alabama. And field position, which we've talked about, Alabama so much dominating here in the second half.
2nd and 6 after the 4-yard gain. Inside draw, Paul Ott-Carruth. He is up and past midfield. 9-yard gain. I believe it's the first time we've seen that particular play today.
Paul Ott-Carruth limping off there.
Paul Ott-Carruth coming in with 6 touchdowns on the year, 3 of them via the ground, 3 through the air. This time Sutton gonna keep. Watch the speed. Tries to turn it up but can't do it. Forced out at about the 45-yard line of Georgia. Jeff Sanchez comes up quickly to force Vince out of bounds. Vince Sutton out of LaGrange, Georgia, and there was a huge recruiting battle, as you might imagine. #1 quarterback prospect in many people's minds last year. Georgia was very hot on Vince's trail. In fact, Vince considered the University of Georgia very closely, but chose Alabama. Paul Ott-Carruth on the sideline. 11 carries, 99 yards. Quite a day. The leading rusher for Alabama coming in. Flag on the play before the play began. Five-yard penalty against Alabama.
Dead ball foul. Illegal procedure. Offense. Still 2nd down.
See if we can see it here, Cup.
Dead ball foul. Let's see if we can see where it happened. They're pointing at number 62.
That would be John McIntosh, if in fact he was the man to commit the offense. Vince Sutton, look at him fire. It's caught at about the 43-yard line. That's Preston Gothard with the reception. Good catch by Preston. Good coverage applied by Knox Culpepper. Preston left the game earlier. Obviously, he's back in good health.
Knox Culpepper in isolation here from his linebacker position, dropping into the coverage. Preston Gothard, the tight end, moving to the inside. That ball had to be perfectly thrown, and it was.
3rd and 4 after the reception by Gothard. Vince scrambling to his left. He is firing. Richardson, no. Greg Richardson makes the dive at about the 24-yard line. Sutton throwing on the run. Kevin Harris provides the coverage. So it sets up a 4th and 4.
I'm sure Vince Sutton is wishing, he's upset with himself. If he had taken a little bit more time there and set himself and thrown that ball with a little softer touch to the outside, he would have had a big completion. That's the inexperience that we were talking about at the very top of the show. He has the natural talent, but he is indeed a college freshman.
One of these days, this experience will pay off, though. 8 for 22 on the day. 4th and 4. Let's see if they don't punt. They do. The rush, a strong one. The kick comes down in the end zone. Good shot of Vince Sutton on the sideline. 43-yard punt. Georgia takes over on offense. They've got a 3-point lead with 10:18 left to go.
It never fails. The one thing most people overlook about their cars is the belts. You see, after 4 years, they can go any time. And since today's belts don't show wear, even I can't always tell when just by looking. So if your car's over 4 years old, replace the belts. And tell them you want Gates. Now, they've been keeping engines cool for over 60 years. Even longer than me. Remember, after 4 years, they can go any time.
I was drowning. Let's go. But nothing could save me. My children. How would they get along without me? So much more to do.
Breathing, her pulse is back. She's gonna be okay.
I got a second chance.
to do all those things I always meant to do.
At Prudential, we know most of us don't get a second chance. Talk to a Prudential agent and get the peace of mind that comes with a piece of the rock.
We're all right now.
Get a piece of the rock.
Prudential Life Insurance.
It's going to be a wild one Monday night when the undefeated San Francisco 49ers meet Lawrence Taylor and the New York Giants, and you'll see it right here on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football.
College football, Legion Field, Birmingham, Alabama. Corey McFerrin, Lee Groscup, and Lynn Swan with you. Got ourselves quite a football game. There he is. I once did an interview with Uga.
What did he say?
He barked a little bit. He's generally a happy dog as long as he's got some food. Tron Jackson, right side, the electron bomb. Couple yards, maybe 3.
I told you we might see Tron in the fourth quarter. They like to use him that way. He's the swiftest man on the team. World-class speed in both the 100 and 200 meters. The electron bomb. Is that a new video game?
Could be. Could be. The guy can move. There's no question about it. The only guy on the team that could probably beat him in a foot race would be Stanley Blaylock, a receiver who was part of the NCAA 400-meter championship team for the University of Georgia. Williams gets mixed up but turns it into a big gainer. Up to about the 33-yard line. Good poise by Williams. A first down for the Dogs. 9-yard gain.
Hunker down, you hairy dog.
Let the big dog eat.
When Herschel was there, they said that quite a bit.
That was very appropriate in those days.
The big dog chewed up a lot of yards.
As you can see, it's all coming on the ground today. Cleveland Gary gets by the front line, breaks it to about the 44-yard line where Freddie Robinson comes up to make the hit. 11-yard gain, so a 9-yard gainer by Williams. An 11-yard gain by Gary.
This is the sort of thing that delights Vince Dooley. We talked about how he loves the concept of I-formation football. He prefers to get the ball to his tailback a lot of times. He's been more fullback-oriented today, but he loves those classic tailback plays in the I-formation.
The pitch. Jackson fumble. Alabama grabs the football, but I believe they will call Jackson down at the 42-yard line. This partisan crowd does not agree with that call. Cliff Thomas and Randy Rockwell, the linebacker, came up to greet Tron in a very tough manner. We'll see it again.
This is some greeting, and I don't mean a Christmas greeting. Look at this. That's one of the most impressive hits of the day.
And
I don't know.
He was in the air.
I'd question that call.
He was in the air. The Bama fans might have something to gripe about. 2nd and 12. Jackson again. Emmanuel King is there.
I think the Dogs should consider themselves lucky with that call.
I agree. We'll see it one more time.
One more time. Let's see right here. Watch. The ball pops loose right there.
Oh,
the man is still in midair.
Got to be a fumble. Go! Go! But Georgia has the football. 3rd and 9, a pivotal play. We're under 8 minutes to go in the ball game. Williams rolling. Williams under pressure, runs. He's going to have the first down. Todd Williams, the junior from Waycross, Georgia. What a heady play. The guy's had a terrible day through the air, but he just saved his team a punting situation as he runs for the first down.
Pro scouts refer to this quality as escape dimension. Sprint out to his left. He's looking for his wide receiver. Now he sees daylight up the middle, and Todd Williams races by a linebacker right here, puts his head down, and picks up the valuable first down yardage.
Williams has rushed 7 times today, a total of 34 yards. This time it's Tron again, and so far the electron bomb is yet to get loose.
There's the tailback draw. Remember how I told you they're not using it a whole lot? When Herschel was here, that was one of their big plays. But Tron Jackson, the most experienced of the tailbacks, has a sense of the field and can execute that play.
We've got 7 minutes exactly to go in this ball game. Georgia on the Alabama 45-yard line. It's 2nd and 10. That's Andre Smith breaking it inside the 30 to 27-yard line. great fake by Williams. Andre Smith, who had that sensational first quarter with the 2 touchdowns. A 17-yard game. The Georgia ground game is cooking.
This is looking like the first quarter all over again. Reverse spin, that's that drive play by the fullback. Remember the second touchdown? It's exactly the same look. Andre Smith, a.k.a. Pulpwood, number 35, 17 yards, big play.
6:28 to go. The pitch back to Lars Tate whistles. Sound prior to the snap. It's against Georgia, as you can see.
Dead ball foul. Illegal procedure. Nothing.
All right, that'll make it a 1st and 15 for Georgia. Tell you what, there is nobody who's left this football stadium yet. Andre Smith on the day, 10 carries, 114 yards. The first time a Georgia back has rushed for over 100 yards since Tron Jackson did it last year against Temple. Lars Tate, left side, is crushed at about the 32. Not much.
Fresh tailbacks alternating here in the Georgia backfield. We said that we would see all 3 tailbacks play, but particularly here in the 4th quarter with Tron Jackson seeing action, you're seeing fresh tailbacks in there almost all the time.
Georgia controlling the football. This is the 10th play in this particular drive. Vince Dooley on the sideline. 2nd and 13. Todd going right. He is throwing. Caught. Herman Archie. Touchdown. Bulldogs. Wow. Todd Williams all afternoon. Difficulty hooking up with his receivers, but here at the 5:33 mark of the 4th quarter with the game on the line, he comes through with the big play, 31 yards to Herman Archie.
This is an example of patience paying off. They set it up with their running game. Sprint out pass, throw back across the grain to number 81, wide receiver Herman Archie.
Butler's extra point is good. And the University of Georgia takes a 24-14 lead. Herman Archie's touchdown reception from Todd Williams.
Sat down with Mom, talked to Dad. Can't get it together, makes you feel sad. You know you can do it, you wonder where. You want it soon because you really care. The services can help you so you not only get better, you really grow. Talking Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. They'll take you, train you, show you the way. You'll work hard, get decent pay in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Prove you can make it. Prove it to all. Serving your country and walking tall in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. You've got it together. They'll see in a glance. Thanks to the services, you got the chance in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. It's a great place to start.
Looks like you're into winning.
You bet.
Then today Chevrolet has a car for you. Cavalier.
Come on in and you'll know. Turn it on, let it go. It's at your command.
2 liters of electronically fuel-injected power, front drive agility, and optional sports suspension. Cavalier. Grab one.
If this is today's Chevrolet, it's a winner.
Drive today, Chevy. Live today, Chevy.
Live it.
Chevy.
In Game 3 of the National League Championship Series, the Padres had Chicago climbing the wall. A 3-run blast from Kevin McReynolds helped bust the Cubs 7-1. San Diego can tie it up tonight at 8 Eastern.
Back at Legion Field, let's see the touchdown again. Williams to Archie, 31 yards.
Well developed here as Todd Williams sprints to the corner. The blocking is perfect. Herman Archie cuts to the post and beats Freddie Robinson, number 21. And the ball was thrown with a lot of authority. That is the best pass of the day for quarterback Todd Williams. Perfectly set up by the running game and by earlier sprint out passes, especially going wide.
While we were away, there was an animated conversation between Coach Ray Perkins and the officials about time running off the clock when it shouldn't have been running. I don't believe he is satisfied yet with the result.
Very animated.
In fact, it was kind of an argument. 24-14, less than 5 minutes to go. Alabama staring a 1-4 record in the face. Georgia looking to go 3-1 if this 10-point lead holds up. 80-yard drive, 10 play. They soak up almost 5 minutes on the clock. The key play, Todd Williams to Herman Archie. 31 yards. And Georgia has a 24-14 lead. Here we go. You think Butler might have a leg or what? Alabama on offense, but right now let's check in with Jim Lampley in New York. Jim.
Corey McPherrin, Nebraska had gone 6 quarters without a touchdown before they broke this Shane Swanson 49-yard punt return with 8:51 to go in Lincoln to finally take the lead against Oklahoma State. First time they've led in the ball game at 10-3. The Cowboys now trying to come back with about 5 minutes to go in that ball game. Back to Corey McPherrin.
Thank you, Jim. 1st and 10. 30-yard line. Alabama 4 minutes and 50 seconds to score 10 points. Sutton over the middle. Paul Otkaruth has got the football, but Knox Culpepper is there along with John Little. They've just announced here that the clock on the scoreboard is inaccurate. The time will be kept on the field. So we are not sure if 4:50 how close that is to reality. Now it's ticking down. We'll keep track of that for you. 2nd and 2nd after the 8-yard gain. Sutton again to Caruth. Same kind of play. Almost breaks through the tackle by Culpepper. Ball out past the 45-yard line. Called to 46 of Alabama. Other scores in the SEC. Auburn beat Mississippi 17-13. Florida shuts out Syracuse 16-zip. Mississippi State 27. Southern Miss 18. 4:30 to go. Look out. Big rush. Sutton goes down. The tackle by Greg Walters. His 4th sack on the year to vault into the team lead. 14-yard loss. 14-yard loss. Greg Waters. Big play.
Again, you see a little bit of the inexperience of Sutton there because he was fading to his left in the pocket instead of sliding forward, and that gave Walters a good shot.
4 minutes, 13 seconds to go. Georgia, 10 points in front.
Now that I've shown you all my other personal computers, here's something I just can't wait for you to see. Ooh, ooh, close your eyes, close your eyes. I just love surprising people. Okay, ta-da! What? Over here.
Oh. Is NCR making a personal computer?
Uh-huh.
Nice graphics. Easy to read.
Surprised?
Not particularly. I'll take it.
What about this for sturdy?
Well, that's sturdy, but then I wasn't expecting flimsy, not from NCR.
Weren't you a little surprised?
Maybe startled, but just till I remembered who made it.
Could you look surprised?
I said I'd take it.
I know you'll take it. I just wanted you to be.
But I know NCR. They practically computerized the banking business. Look, I'm writing a check.
Oh, money isn't everything. What about job satisfaction?
Well, have you ever considered another line of work? You like to surprise people. You could be a magician.
You can't make a living pulling rabbits out of a hat. I got 4 daughters in dental school.
4?
Surprised?
Yeah.
A better computer. It's exactly what you'd expect from NCR.
Vince Sutton, the freshman quarterback for the University of Alabama, 10 of 24, 70 yards, 3 times has thrown the interception today. Inexperienced, inconsistent, but shows flashes of brilliance. He's got 4 minutes and 13 seconds left to show some magic today. Gothard up to about the 42-yard line, and now time becomes a major factor. We're inside 4 minutes right now.
We saw Mike Shula warming up on the sideline momentarily, just moments ago, but it looks like Vince Sutton all the way.
Sutton again, being chased. Look out, he's going to run. 40, 45, midfield, 45, 40-yard line of Georgia. So the clock stops at 3:42, an 18-yard pickup. Vince Sutton shows his feet can move pretty well.
Smart running here. He senses pressure up the middle, moves to his left. Now he sees daylight, moves it upfield as far as he can, and then stops the clock by stepping out of bounds. and avoiding contact, possibly an injury.
Good play. 8 rushing attempts for Sutton, a total of 52 yards on the day.
And 2 touchdowns.
1 of 32 yards, the other of 2 yards. Chester Braggs bowling his way inside the Georgia 35, down to about the 34. 3:31 to go, 3:30 to go.
Hurry up offense all the way now for Alabama.
Chester Braggs in the ball game. Twin set formation with Ricky Moore. This time, Sutton across the middle, Braggs again. Inside the 25 to 24. Boswell makes the stop for Georgia.
No time for huddles. Automatic signals. Get going, guys.
And this is a time where a freshman quarterback can grow leaps and bounds. Big pressure, Kenny Sims. Saxon. 4th sack for Georgia. 13-yard loss.
Timeout, says Ray Perkins right there.
Kenny Sims' 4th sack on the season. 2 minutes and 54 seconds to go. Ray Perkins and the Tide call timeout. They're down by 10 points.
Dan, something for your desk.
Vice President?
You earned it.
Today, Chevrolet has something for you, too. Discover Caprice Classic.
Now it's here, your reward. Just lean back, it's all yours.
Caprice, now even better with electronic fuel injection standard, plus traditional full-size comfort and prestige you've earned.
So this is today's Chevrolet.
Welcome to the club.
Drive today, Chevy. Live today, Chevy.
Live it.
Chevy.
Hot Saturday night. A hot Saturday night. Coors to you on a hot Saturday night. Refreshing Coors to you.
Cold.
All night through.
Cool.
Rocky Mountain Gold, you got it. The best of the Rockies is yours. On a hot Saturday night.
The Georgia Bulldogs jumped out to a quick 17-0 lead in the first half. Alabama stormed back a couple of touchdowns by Vince Sutton. Made it 17-14. Then it was Todd Williams to Herman Archie, the 31-yard touchdown connection. That's where we are right now, 24-14. 3rd down, 23 yards to go. Ball on the 37-yard line of Georgia. 2 minutes, 54 seconds remain in this contest.
Many big plays in this football game today, but I'm sure when Georgia officials look at their films on Tuesday or Monday, whenever they do it, they're going to think about the 4 sacks on Vince Sutton that netted minus 51 yards.
Vince Sutton still at the controls. 3rd and 23. Let's see what they come up with. It's a quarterback draw again. Will it work? 30. He dives to the 25. He's going to be about 10 yards short. It'll be 4th and about 13. That was a draw play that worked for the 32-yard touchdown earlier in the game.
Exactly. It was a 4th and 3 situation earlier, and it netted 32 yards and a touchdown. This time, it's going to come up short of a first down.
4th and 10. This is it for Bama. They've got to complete this pass. Sutton going long to the end zone, up in the air. It is incomplete. That ball intended for Paul Otkaru. John Little is back there, and so is Kevin Harris. Sutton put it up for grabs, and the ball falls down to the earth, but there's a flag way back at the 32-yard line. Looks like it's against Alabama. They're talking it over with Georgia, pretty good indication that it is against Alabama, perhaps a hold. Ray Perkins doesn't look real happy right now.
Defense. 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 Defense.
Holding. Offense. Still 3rd down.
Holding on Alabama. Still 3rd down. I believe he made a mistake.
3rd down and very long. 3rd and 20 yards to go.
20, okay.
They're going to have to try to split that deep seam in the zone coverage.
2:22 to go. Sutton back to fire. He's got a man, Caruth. Look out, it is picked off. Jeff Sanchez, his second pick of the day. 20-yard line. 25, 30, look out, 35, 37-yard line before he's forced out of bounds. Sutton appeared to have Caruth within his sights. Another flag is down.
Looked like a late hit on number 54 of Alabama. That would be Wes Neighbors, the son of Billy Neighbors. He got to play his part of his father in the movie Bear.
Sanchez comes up with the interception. As you can see, the penalty against Alabama. And that pretty much salts it away for the University of Georgia today. 2:09 to go in the contest. Sanchez, the veteran, sat out the whole year last season with a broken arm. He was all conference in '82. Had 9 interceptions back in '82, ranking him second in the nation today. He picks off 2 of them.
So
I got the wrong ball here.
4 key interceptions of Vince Sutton passes and 4 sacks, netting
Dead
more
ball.
than 50 yards of
Personal
losses.
foul. Defense. First down.
Vince Sutton is trying to throw deep down the middle to his back, Paul Ott Caruth. And playing center field there at his safety position is number 31, Jeff Sanchez. He was hit late, out of bounds.
Georgia undoubtedly will play it safe. 24-14 to score. Andre Smith takes the football and rather tentatively pushes ahead for about 2. Timeout, Alabama. 1:59 remaining. So if you look at those sacks, you look at those interceptions, you can very clearly point out key problem for Alabama, and that is at the quarterback position. They've got a freshman in there with a lot of talent, but he is a freshman playing in his 5th game of his collegiate career, and he just isn't quite ready yet.
And the problems that have characterized Alabama football have been very much in evidence today. They've gotten good work out of their defense and their kicking game at times, but the offense has been suspect. And with a freshman quarterback and some other young people, you're going to have problems for a while, and especially in a sophisticated offense such as the offense that Ray Perkins brought to Alabama from the New York Giants. You don't learn that in just 2 or 3 games.
Go Dogs!
So we mentioned earlier that Alabama off to its worst start since 1967. At 57, I mean. Could now be after today 1-4.
And what's really scary about that is look ahead. Penn State next week. They got Tennessee on this schedule. They got LSU. They've got Auburn. Have had a losing season here since that 1957 year, but that certainly is a realistic possibility because today they will fall to 1 win and 4 losses. 1:48 to go. Georgia, on the other hand, looking ahead a little bit. Next week, they will take on Ole Miss in Athens. This would be Georgia's first conference victory of the year. Alabama would fall to 0-2. They lost last week to Vanderbilt. This is a Georgia team.
Looks like number 90.
That's Joe Godwin, inside linebacker, being attended to on the field. Vince Dooley all year long has been saying, hey, this is not the same kind of Georgia football team we've had the past few years with the depth, the experience. Of course, we know Vince likes to downplay his team and their talents, but this year there is a certain amount of proof to that.
He is indeed the master of the understatement. This team reminds me a little bit of the 1978 Georgia team. The slogan that year, 1978, was underdogs to wonder dogs. And you remember that they came on very strongly that season. I covered them twice that year. The opening game against Baylor, which they won. The final game against Georgia Tech. Finest telecast I think we've ever had here at ABC Sports.
A wild one indeed. Todd Williams, the pitch to Lars Tate. Lars pounds the right side. Gets a couple as the clock continues to tick away. Minute 16, minute 15 to go in this ball game. And the Georgia Bulldogs will have an enjoyable bus ride back to Athens this evening. The stadium finally beginning to clear out Tell you what, Cupper, so much red today, it's hard to tell from up here which is crimson and which is the Georgia red. There were a lot of Bulldog fans here today, and they are celebrating in the stands right now.
Don't say that to a Georgia fan or an Alabama fan, though. They know the difference. They'll tell you there's a big difference between crimson and red.
That there is. Greg Richardson back to receive.
Well, you mentioned at the very top the great historical elements to this rivalry, one that dates all the way back to 1895 when Pop Warner was the coach at Georgia. Through the years, so many great players have appeared for both schools. There have been two Heisman Trophy winners.
Fraction of a 25-second count. Offense.
Frank Sinkwich in 1942, Herschel Walker in 1982 for Georgia. Never a Heisman for Alabama, though, interestingly enough.
Which is wild when you consider they've won the national title 5 times and won the SEC crown 18 times. Richardson, 12-yard line, tries to jump around a little bit, does him no good. 37-yard punt, a return of 1 yard. 30 seconds to go in the ball game.
Intensity showing on the face of Ray Perkins. He is that kind of a coach. He was that kind of player.
Talk about the rivalry and the great historical tradition. It's good to see Georgia and Alabama playing again after a 7-year void. Alabama has won more SEC titles than anybody else with 18, but Georgia is second on that list. Sutton scrambling, looking around, under 30 seconds. That's Richardson. Should have cut to the sidelines. He does not, to the 27.
Some people have asked about that particular item, and it really has nothing to do with the two schools trying to avoid one another. It simply has to do with the rotation that is standard in the SEC.
They've got 5 permanent opponents, and the other 4 simply rotate year to year. Vince Sutton, look out. Fires it. It is caught. Nice catch, Paul Caruth. 40-yard line, 5 seconds, 4 seconds. Clock is stopped with 3 seconds to go. In fact, the first game ever played, Lee, at Legion Field was Alabama, Georgia, November 24, 1927. Bulldogs won that meeting 20-6. This is the 12th meeting of these two teams at this stadium. Alabama had led coming in 6-4-1. Going to make it 6-5-1 right now. That is it. The University of Georgia has won this ball game 24-14. Ray Perkins makes the long walk to the locker room. Back with a final word in just a moment from Legion Field.
Everywhere, more information is going out over the phone lines. More people talking, more computer data.
I could get you on standby.
How will our phone systems ever keep up? With ITT's System 12, an extraordinary digital telephone system. It handles both voice and data reliably and economically. ITT System 12 will meet even tomorrow's needs.
A man and a half, a man and a half.
I take him and a half.
So.
In my line of work, your insurance isn't on a piece of paper. It's up here, and it's in your equipment.
For AC Delco, test pilot Chuck Yeager.
With all the technology that's built into today's cars, I just don't trust mine to anything but AC filters. An AC oil filter can help protect your gasoline engine for up to 15,000 miles. An AC air filter, up to 30,000 miles. Never wait for trouble. Protect your car with AC filters.
Call 800 AC Delco for a retailer near you.
Back at Legion Field, most of this huge crowd has already filed out. They have seen the University of Georgia win their ball game today over Alabama by a final score of 24-14. Georgia improves their record to 3-1. Alabama falls to 1-4. And Lee, a 1-4 record is kind of tough for Alabama fans to swallow.
Worst start since 1957, as we mentioned. And so the Tide now has their backs against the wall for the remainder of the 1984 season. Those problems that we talked about were very much in evidence.
Stay tuned for the college football scoreboard show. Once again, it's Georgia 24, Alabama 14. Travel arrangements made through promotional fee paid by United Airlines. You're not just flying, you're flying the friendly skies. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports.
I'm Peter Jennings for ABC's World News Tonight. On Monday, wild horses overpopulating the western plains. Now, instead of mass-killing, birth control may be the answer. We'll also have a poll on how you saw Sunday's debate.
1984 is the year of aerodynamics. Every car company seems obsessed with it. At Volvo, we're concerned with aerodynamics, too. In fact, the Volvo 760 GLE is very aerodynamic indeed. But through all this development and testing, Volvo engineers never forgot one thing. No matter how aerodynamic you make a car, it could someday encounter something a little stronger than the wind.
Volvo, an investment you can enjoy.
All the phone lines are out on Oak.
We have cable trouble.
Information age technology and teamwork are making it possible for Southern Bell to meet our commitment of service to you faster and more fully than ever before.
Okay.
Whatever the need, you can depend on us.
Because we work for Southern Bell, and you.
It was a terrible storm, but we didn't have any problems.
Does the gasoline you use have the most cleansing power available? For gasoline after gasoline, the answer is no. For Chevron, it's yes. Yes to Chevron's patented gasoline additive for greater cleansing power in your intake system. Power for better performance. Yes to the most cleansing power in a gasoline today. Yes also to a wide range of buying choices. The most cleansing power available? For gasoline after gasoline, the answer is no. Chevron says yes.
The all-new Let's Make a Deal, weekday mornings at 9.
ABC Sports presents the College Football Scoreboard, featuring today's scores and highlights with Jim Lampley and Beano Cook.
Jim Lampley again with Beano Cook, and let's start with the biggest upset of the day in case you don't know it already. Purdue beat Ohio State in West Lafayette, Indiana. The final in the ball game, 28-23. The ultimate margin of victory provided by a 55-yard return of an interception by Rod Woodson. Keith Byers in the game for Ohio State. And this is Heisman Trophy information. Doug, if you're watching up in Natick or Boston, you'll be interested. Byers, 191 yards rushing, 102 yards receiving, a 61-yard kickoff return, 354 yards of total offense for that halfback. But Purdue won the game. And afterward, we spoke to Purdue coach Leon Burton by phone about Byers and his win.
Byers was just unbelievable. I mean, we said going into the ball game, we wasn't going to stop Keith Byers. We were just going to try to contain him and keep him from getting a long run against us. And he is a tremendous football player, and so is Tom Zach. I think he's a highly underrated. He had a great game against us also.
How do your kids feel right now, Coach?
They're elated, to say the least. They're very, very happy, and they deserve it. They've worked very, very hard.
Second big upset of the season for Purdue, which, of course, beat Notre Dame earlier in the season. And quarterback Jim Everett had another good day for the Boilermakers. Who will move up as a result of Ohio State's loss? Well, Washington has a chance, but right now the Huskies are having trouble, leading Oregon State only 9-7 in the third quarter. That's the same Oregon State which lost to Idaho of Division I AA last Saturday. Boston College will move up, no question about it, because the Eagles are idle today. Also, #1 ranked Texas will play later this evening against Rice as the Longhorns try to hold on to the #1 spot. 5th ranked Oklahoma was also idle today. They will move up as a result of Ohio State's loss. Next Saturday, of course, here on ABC Sports, you will see live CFA college football, Texas, Oklahoma, from Dallas, Texas at 3:30 Eastern Time. And according to what we can understand now about the rankings, that will feature 2 of the top 5 teams.